Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Art Brunch. This is, I think, episode 6 of Art Brunch. It's a really exciting episode. And for all of you who are watching the show for the first time, the travel agency is the name of the channel that we're on right now. And the travel agency is a digitally native platform that hosts contemporary art making, produces art-centered entertainment, and provides digital residencies to emerging artists. The travel agency's flagship talk show is Art Brunch. And the mission of Art Brunch is to broaden public interest and support for the arts, provide tools and expertise to emerging artists, and to present contemporary art in a casual and accessible manner. That mission aligns with the mission of the guests that we have on today, but we'll get to that in a moment. If you're new to Twitch, if you're new to the stream, feel free to interact with us as we go along today. Ask questions. We can often get to your questions in the moment and provide that to our guests. But if we can't, just stick around. We'll get to your question eventually. Other than that, again, if it's your first time on Twitch, leaving a follow for the channel is really helpful. It's completely free to do. If you follow the channel, you'll get updates for our events, for our shows when they go live. And if you're interested in supporting the stream, the best way to support the travel agency right now is subscribing to our Twitch channel. A subscription is $6, and what that does is provides us tools, resources to continue to make new shows and to support our future resident artists. The last thing on that is if you have an Amazon account, you can subscribe to us for free by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you can subscribe to us for free that way, and we get that money. So now that I've told you all of those things, I also want to tell you that we have a co-host, a very good friend of mine, a very good person, a man of many talents and strengths, of laughter and jokes. Somebody that can do both. Jake
Laughter
Leach.
and jokes.
See what I'm
I
saying?
can do both.
You can do both.
Like,
You can,
it's never just one. I usually laugh at my own joke, which is bad. Well, it's considered bad. I don't think it's bad, but people say that it is, so I feel like I need to maintain that.
Who are these people?
Rude people, mean-spirited. Like, I'm an easy laugh. I love that concept. Like, oh, I'm an easy laugh. And I think people think that means what I'm laughing at doesn't have like the meat that it needs. But I just think, like, even if it's not that funny, I can find something funny out of it for myself, given that it like wasn't very funny,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just like to. It's real. I'm full of joy. Damn it! Is that so wrong?
Yeah, no, it is wrong. You should keep all of those things inside, I think.
Okay. Well, Shrek told me better out than in, and honestly, those are words that I live by. So
We have a guest today. We have actually 2 guests today. Isn't that crazy?
First time.
Big Monster in the chat says he's got jokes! Exclamation point. I think I was supposed to read that earlier.
Thank you.
We have 2 guests for the first time, and we have like a little bio, but I think we're really excited. We've like geeked out about having these people on the show privately, and now we get to do it publicly.
In eternity, because it's also being recorded too.
Oh yeah, we'll be like geeking out about these
It's gonna
people
be big hype.
in the entire flat circle of time.
Hell yeah.
So Silverspace is a promotional and editorial platform committed to enhancing the accessibility of the arts. They firmly believe that art can and should be for everyone, and you shouldn't need a graduate degree to understand it.
Oh, exclusively. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. One second. I was getting some feedback there. Silverspace's mission is to provide a platform that showcases artists of all disciplines while challenging the stigmas that surround comprehending art. And we'll get to that in a little bit because I'm really excited to talk about that. They aim to develop an inclusive, generative community backed by resources like editorial content and interviews, as well as digital and on-site representation to connect artists' work with the widest possible audience. And the the subgroup of Silver Space. Sorry, my producer is talking to me. What is
Oh, we got
glitchy?
a producer chat. Just one. Stand by, everyone.
Has it been like that the whole time? Okay. The subset of Silver Space that we're talking to today is Cool Whip, and Cool Whip is a podcast. Many of you probably are familiar with them. In the fall of 2019, Silver Space was awarded a generous gift from the Luminary's Future Fund, which helped jumpstart the podcast Cool Whip, hosted by co-founder and editor Marina May and artist Nick Schleicher. I think I said it right. He'll correct me in a moment. Cool Whip is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Cool Whip brings you in-depth, theoretical, witty, serious, and absurd conversations with artists, curators, and leaders who are continuously active in our community. They've got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of great artists on the first season, and they're launching a second season soon. So I want to just, welcome them to the show. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, there we go. We're set up.
We're gonna blocked by a menu.
That's all you need.
That's how I prefer to be.
Yeah. Here, let me just.
Yeah, there we go. Just
Yeah, there you go.
Now you can just see my weird long and wacky waving inflatable tube banner.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we're joined by Nick and the Menu May.
Hey, Menu May.
Menu May in the chat.
What'll it be? What'll it be, fellas?
Welcome to the show. We're super excited to have you all here. It's like a really
Excited
cool
to be
moment
here.
for us, and you all are definitely. I feel like I say this every week now, and it just expresses the dream that we're living. But you all are like dream guests for the show, and it's a meeting of the minds. It's a coming together. So you're making all of our little boys' dreams come true.
I'm a big boy, Rick. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. I'm older than 5 years old. I'm a big boy now. Okay. Thank you.
Jake's the biggest boy. The biggest boy. But thank
I was
you.
trying to
what I'm known
explain to
as on
somebody
the
what
show,
we were
yeah.
doing today on the show, and I could only liken it to when Conan goes on David Letterman.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So that's like the standard I'm holding this conversation to.
Oh, great.
Nick, are we Conan or
I
are
was gonna
we
say
David
who is
Letterman?
who, because I'm complimented either way, but
I can't decide. I like them both.
there we go. That was the right answer.
I think
You
I'm
keep
gonna
putting
double down and I'm put you on the spot here, Nick.
Oh, here's Rick's spotlight, putting you on the.
I don't know
on the mat.
anything about either of these shows, but you have to
Oh no!
you have to make a decision for us.
I had
I
to make a
feel-
decision who I like better.
Which show we are and which show you are.
Oh God. Well, I guess we get to be Conan.
Okay.
I knew you were gonna. I was like, Nick in his heart of hearts is wants to be Conan. So yeah, I'll agree with that.
I wanted to be Letterman, but I think we're more Conan.
Yeah, we're definitely. I
How's
think
TBS treating you?
Okay, is that
we're
a
not
dig on
TBS
Conan? Because
anymore.
Rick, I know you're my boy, but I will not take that.
Like I said, that's probably the only thing I know about Conan.
He's moving to HBO anyway, apparently. So
Yeah, he's off. He's
That's
going,
sick. That's next level.
Variety show now.
yeah,
I think his podcast took over the way he wants to do things, and now he's just like, I don't need TV anymore.
I did consider introducing you, Nick, as a young Ray Romano, but but I decided against it.
Sabra!
that's really good.
I used to get so much shit for liking Everybody Loves Raymond when I was a kid.
It's a good
Apparently
show.
it was a lame show, but it's so funny.
No, it's so.
I would record
funny.
it on VHS and watch it when I was homesick.
Hell yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's a better show than 2.5 Men. And
Oh,
as
God,
far as
yeah.
Fuck that show.
shows that happen after The Simpsons, in my case, because The Simpsons would go from 6 to 6:30, and then after that it would be you'd hear men,
Oh.
men. And
It's
oh, I
a good-
gotta
it's
get
kind
out
of
of here.
It's kind of a banger, but
Change.
we can
That's
get
when
to
I
that
turned
later.
the TV off.
Did Everybody Loves Raymond ever do a crossover episode with Everybody Hates Chris, or did they miss that opportunity?
I think they missed it. If I had to guess.
Yeah, they probably missed it.
Man, that would have been cool.
Ray and Chris could have bonded. You know?
Yeah, I feel so like left out because I never watched sitcoms like growing up really at all. So I missed like an entire generation of like cultural references.
Yeah.
So I've been playing catch up with Hulu for like the past like 2 years. And
Nice.
What were you watching instead?
God, I don't even know.
Because we were all watching something. Let's be
Buffy the
honest.
Vampire Slayer
Oh yeah.
for just like 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we were watching that New Mutants movie, more like Old Mutants, because it took so long to come out. And in the background, there was like a bookshelf, and the only thing on the bookshelf was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There we go. There was a point in quarantine where all I did was take on internet quizzes to find out which Buffy the Vampire Slayer character I was. And I got Buffy on all, I think it was like 7 quizzes. So I'm just going to go with that.
There you
you're
go.
Minted, solidly minted Buffy.
Skate Mom, welcome to the chat. President Linkhold, welcome to the chat. Apparently, I've been secretly studying Conan for my entire career.
Is that right?
It's something. Yeah, that's what President Linkhold says.
Do you move in the method of Conan, I guess?
I don't even know anything about Conan except that he might have like orange hair.
Well,
Yeah,
he
you need a
does.
pompadour
He
to
does.
really
Yeah.
be your full Conan. Although Conan's hair is like, he's doing the whole quarantine grow out thing.
He's
Is he
looking
going to
good.
do the Letterman beard? Letterman's like caveman beard? And wash
They-
it in the stream of like Cleveland or of Ohio water?
He did a new, like, my next guest is Dave Chappelle, and they were walking on the streets of Cleveland, or not Cleveland, wherever in Ohio Dave Chappelle is. And he had his mask on, and it was like this tiny little thing over this huge white beard. It looked so comical.
Yeah,
Freak.
President Linkhold says, "God bless Letterman and that monster caveman beard. I love him."
Yep.
Also, President Linkhold is trying to mutiny the chat again. We have this problem with our chat sometimes where
Respect.
they come here for art brunch, but there's like a suspicious absence of food. And we have a small subset of our audience that I think just wants us to eat like pancakes live on stream, and we've got to like kind of tamp that energy down.
Well, Rick, you know what I'd say? I'd say if people really gave a lot of subs, you know, and were to maybe really popularize the show, and we really got to have some sort of operating, you know, kind of brunch budget. You know, that's how that happens. We can hire chefs. We can, or if nothing else, get better kitchen equipment because I could use some, and I'll eat on air. Let's do it. Isn't what the kids call a mukbang? That's not what that's supposed to be. I learned that
Nikono
this week.
Nikono says we demand the mukbang.
See, there we go. We're
Laura
already in the same galaxy brain right now.
Laura Shilley, welcome to the chat. I hear Marina has mad pancake recipe.
Oh no.
What is that about?
I went through like a period of time where I ate a pancake every day for dessert.
I'm glad you could keep yourself to one pancake,
What
because every
does
time
that
I eat
mean?
pancakes, I eat like 8, and then I regret it, and then I don't want to eat them for 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the deal. So I don't have the patience to like make and flip pancakes. So I would bake one, and I have this tiny cast iron skillet by Chrissy Teigen. Shout out Chrissy Teigen.
She needs help with her brand for sure. So glad we shouted.
I
it.
Yeah.
mean, she really doesn't know how to like be on the internet. So
I'm gonna
Chrissy
pop
Teigen,
Chrissy
I don't
Teigen's
know
links in the
her.
chat.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, she's a relative unknown.
Yeah.
But she makes like the perfectly sized like single pancake like cast iron skillet. So I would make a really sweet pancake every night for dessert, and it was the best tradition. And I'm probably gonna have one tonight, honestly.
That sounds.
Oh, it sounds fitting. We'll have it. We'll
What's like
stream
a
it
bake?
live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I messed up. I should have just had that now. I could have been your
Yeah.
brunch.
Shit. You should.
I mean, there's a 10-minute break
yeah,
between segments.
just whip
I mean,
one up.
It only takes about 20 minutes.
President Linkhold, thanks for the bits. President Linkhold cheered 100 bits for bits to fund brunch. So I think
There we go.
I think that counts as one pancake.
Wow.
So
That's-
every 100
wow.
bits is one pancake for this this brunch mukbang that's gonna be coming coming up pretty
Disgusting,
soon.
probably.
Well, if you're
Speaking of
sending
pancakes, I
bits,
have
send
to
me
say,
50.
every year for my birthday, my family, we start a tradition where you eat one pancake, or you are made one pancake for each year you were born. So
Oh shit!
Ooh.
So, as you can probably tell, in recent years, that pile's been getting real big. And we've kind of moved to like more like dime size ones. Also, like, it's been a little while since like I've been at my mom's house on my birthday or something. But friends have kind of jumped in, and I've also done it myself. So, coming up on 29 pancakes soon next year. In late February, so anybody, I'll have to put
We'll
that
stream
on the
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year.
Just you eating
Attempts to
29
eat
pancakes
Yeah.
with
29
no
pancakes,
sound,
for God's
only
sake.
like burping ever so often.
Mm-hmm.
Every-
It'll be disgusting.
Everyone's saying that 100-bit pancakes are cheap, but like,
Yeah.
or that's value. I mean, I think it's value. Pancakes
think
are like a pretty cheap commodity. Like you're not. If you
yeah.
can make 29 pancakes for somebody's birthday, I think that like indicates that they're pretty easy. They're kind of like low barrier of entry. It was one of the cheapest foods in my opinion. Pancakes. It's like popcorn and then pancakes, right?
Popcorn, I feel like, is expensive for what you're getting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're
see
literally just buying kernels of corn
Are you-
that like people.
Are you
would
talking about what you buy at the store or what you buy at the movies?
like
Just
I
store
mean,
like just like a like raw popcorn in a bag is like
Yeah.
insanely cheap, isn't it?
I think so, but like especially the movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's $1 billion.
Yes.
The
We had this girl in my
margins on
neighborhood
that.
when I was a kid. She would just put in a bowl popcorn kernels and pepper them and eat them, and it was like the gross thing to me.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
She-
unpopped popcorn kernels. She just
Yeah. Speaking
Can
of
you
that,
chew them?
Linkhold in the chat just says, "Just eat the kernels, you wimps."
Oh.
I don't know what he's like reading.
Hey, Linkhold, are you my neighbor from when I was a kid?
This is a
Finally.
crossover. This is the true crossover episode.
The truth is revealed.
Nick and the kernel eater. She's like no teeth anymore. All the teeth are just like whittled down.
Ow.
I bet you she doesn't have teeth anymore.
For real.
Speaking of canned crucible, we should get into popping these bevs. We're
Let's
rating.
pop these bevs, y'all.
We're rating
Mine is
these.
so sweaty.
It's sweaty.
That good sweat, that can sweat.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
It's so sweaty.
Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. for you where you're at.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
we
everybody
should
needs
note
to know that Nick is
Correct. In
going the
a
extra
half
mile.
hour, you'll see my face because the sun will probably finally be up.
So we're taking the sober, the non-alcoholic route, at least for the first segment. I think I'm gonna have myself a little cheeky bloody in the second segment. But we've got the Good and Gather coconut pineapple sparkling water today as the next canned contender. Oh yeah,
You got to do the product hand for the makeup
unofficial
routine,
sponsor of Cool Whip.
There we go.
Guys, I feel like Vanna White.
Yeah, it's this always goes one of two ways. It's either the Vanna / like Price is Right, or it's the like makeup face cleansing tutorial.
Oh.
You do
on
both.
YouTube. We do.
I'm very familiar with those.
Yes, exactly.
Look
Shout
at
out
this
to Target.
packaging. I love the packaging. It's so well designed.
Well, just speaking of the packaging, what do you think, Marina? What's your
Oh
vibe
yeah,
on this packaging?
yeah. You're the expert on packaging.
Let's do
I'm
this.
the coconut queen. What are you calling me, fake? No, I'm kidding.
Starting deep out the gate.
I come with fists up, you know.
We'll see. We'll
I'm
see
very-
who's fake when I flip your camera back to the wrong way.
fake and vain. That's just me. But yeah, so this is attractive packaging. It's as you can see, there are pineapples, slices of pineapples, slices of coconuts. It makes me feel warm inside. Tropical. Island Nick, what do you think?
I think the packaging's okay.
I like the kind of muted sheen. Like it has a shine, but it's kind of got a soft one. Like it's kind of matte.
Oh yeah, the silver
that's-
is so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
silver
don't
like
when
silver
sparkling water
space.
tries
Yeah.
too
Silver
hard.
like silver space. There you go.
You guys want
Well-
to get a group pop?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna pop this.
A pop across the non-contiguous U.S. On the
Exactly.
count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh, just smell it.
Just smell
Oh.
it. Yeah, you can drink it at ease. You've been studying sommeliers recently, Nick, right?
I have. I feel like I should pour it in a wine glass and do some spinning.
Get some wafting.
A little garden
Just
hose, a little
channel-
pool toy. Getting
Channel my inner sommelier in Paris. At the Louvre.
The Louvre. We go to the
Bring
Louvre.
some good and gather to the Louvre in Paris.
Welcome to the podcast. We have Good and Gather.
Jake, do we have any
Welcome to the
copy?
podcast.
We
Welcome,
do.
welcome to the podcast. This is the Pineapple Good and
Oh,
Gather. Good and Gather.
What are these accents, first of all?
West
I know
Diana.
it's like kind of 3 different ones.
Have you
I
guys
love it.
heard "Oh Hello," the podcast
I
with
was-
Nick
I
Kroll
wasn't
and John
sure.
Mulaney?
The podcast?
Oh, no, I
had
haven't.
A feeling. Yes, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're
it's
talking
it's worth it. It's like a short little mini series. They have Ira Glass on,
Oh shit.
and fuck, what's her name from Serial? Sarah. Sarah something.
Something. I don't know. Whatever.
Sarah
She's super
Serial.
famous in the podcast.
Sarah
one, but-
Silverman.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
about.
Sarah
Yeah.
Silverface.
Yeah, Sarah
That's hard,
Silverman's
yeah.
serial podcast. Like first, it started out about like serious stuff, and then all of a sudden, she was just like playing jokes on people in jail and like making fun of dead people, and I didn't understand.
It's a
Giving
good
people
vibe.
hope that she'd bail them out of prison.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Never does.
Sarah Koenig.
Oh
Koenig.
yeah,
There you go.
Koenig.
Koenig.
Yeah, Koenig.
Koenig.
Well,
There you go.
Before we get into this little review of our sweet little bev here, something we like to do is this thing called Can Copy, where we look at the copy on the
it's a
can.
it's a subsegment of the Canned Crucible.
Yes, and what we have here today seems like kind of what is known as the Good and Gather promise. Again, this is Good and Gather, the unsweetened sparkling water, our coconut pineapple. Good and Gather is a sub-brand of Target, or Target,
Target.
if we're keeping up with our French accent. And
You're in
something
Paris,
that
Target.
here, we have the Good and Gather promise.
Okay.
And I feel like I
What's
should
that,
stand
Jake?
tall. And what'd you say, Rick?
I says,
Okay.
it was something affirmative.
I gotcha. Affirmative. So I'm going to stand tall, my hand over my heart as we take the Good and Gather promise. And I hope you all will join me. Every product that carries the Good and Gather name starts with quality ingredients that deliver great taste, making it easier for you and your family to eat well every day. We promise you'll love each bite or your money back.
Wow.
So we're actually drinking this incorrectly. We should be eating this can. So
Ow!
let's get
God,
a,
that
let's
noise
get a
is
crunch.
terrible.
It's awful. Marina's missing
I can't.
teeth now.
This is. Oh God! Please,
Good thing you're on a
please, my
podcast, you
show.
don't need
Please,
teeth.
my audience.
So I feel duped because we can't eat this can. This can is not cake, even though we thought it might be. You could slice into it, but we'll figure that out.
There you go.
There we go. We're already in the zone.
Welcome to the ASMR can chewing stream, says President Lincoln. And Nico says the Good and Gather promise. Art emoji.
Yes.
All right.
What's the art emoji? Is it the palette or is it the art guy?
Nico has
girl.
his own custom art
What's to
emoji
say?
for his Twitch channel. You should all go follow Nico on Twitch. It is a golden frame with a black field and white bold Liechtenstein letters that say art.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Quintessential art.
accurate for what we're doing.
There
As
it
this
is.
is art.
This is art right now.
So we rate these cans on 3 value metrics on a scale of 0 to 1,000. So the first metric that we rate the can on is flavor. So Marina, do you wanna take us away and give us what your rating for flavor is on a scale of 0 to 1,000?
1,000.
Oh, shit. Out of the fucking gate.
It's 1,000. Honestly, if we're being honest, I feel like my taste buds are so desensitized to this particular beverage. But if I were to describe it to a nascent drinker, I would say it's a crisp breeze with like a hint of coconut, not a ton of pineapple, but what really like gets me is just like the crisp bubbly sensation on my tongue. It's like Pop Rocks, but like more enjoyable.
We'll
like
get more into that when we get to the mouthfeel section.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nick, what would you say about flavor on a scale of 0 to 1,000?
I'd probably give it a 6,669.
Wow.
Yeah, last week we had our first over 1,000 rating, and it was a 1,001, and it was really shocking. It was like a really shocking experience. But we're kind of like desensitized now by the shock of just popping that 1,000 mark.
We're gone. It's gone, baby. It's where we're going. We don't need roads anymore. I tell you what.
Sarah Duves? How do you say?
It's it'll be Sarah Duves. Hi, honey.
Sarah Duves says, "Do you guys think it tastes like Malibu?"
Oh.
What? No! Stop it!
Wow. I'm banning
Don't
you.
you dare. Not like Malibu.
Yeah, and Skate Mom asks, is it as crisp as 5 gum? But we'll get to that later. And
we'll get to that.
President Lincoln says, how edgy of you, Nick.
That's what I was going for.
Nick's the cool kid, the cool guy, the edgy man.
Jake, bring us back to reality here.
Okay, so
They're desensitized to my coolness.
Right. So flavor-wise, I was very excited to get into this beverage because when we were discussing it in the pre-production, I historically hate coconut flavored things, which sucks because coconut is often in a lot of things that I like added after. Like I've had cookies and chocolate things and stuff like that, and I'm just not into it. So the coconut flavored LaCroix, I personally think tastes like sunscreen, and that's why I don't drink it. And so that's why I'm like, is this gonna taste like sunscreen or not? That is my metric. So it's a 0 or a 1 on the binary, and because of the fact that it does not, and it tastes like sunscreen, and if it did, I would eat the sunscreen all the time. So by that metric, I like a coconut flavor. 1,000.
1,000. Wow.
Let's go.
We're moving along nicely here.
This
so
is incredibly good.
So if this was my first time tasting it, I would definitely be right there with you guys. Because the first time I had it, the first moment I drank it, it was the best thing I ever had. But now I've had like 6 in the course of like 2 days, and like that like the desensitization that was mentioned earlier, like now it doesn't taste like anything to me. It's not fun. It's not new. It's not interesting. It really just kind of tastes like water.
Like sink
It's
water?
like mostly water. It just tastes like it's like 99.9% water to me. But it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. Like
so was the first time
silent.
you had it when you bought this pack? It's like
Yeah.
that 6 you're talking about for this kind of weeks period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think with these sparkling waters, people often forget that it is water and it's very subtly flavored. And so when they're like, but it just tastes like you yelled the flavor out, like, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a solid 700 though.
700.
C minus.
Okay.
Keeping it real. Okay.
I think she's an A, but like whatever.
I mean, like whatever, Rick. Whatever.
Yeah, Sarah in the chat says it reminds her too much of Malibu rum.
That sounds like a personal problem.
It does sound like a personal problem. President Lincoln says we've lost all touch with our rating standards, and that's true. Nico says maybe Tech9 was talking about sparkling water this whole time.
I have it on authority that Tech9 was in fact speaking about coconut pineapple good together.
Marina, take us away on mouthfeel. Yeah, I mean, you jumped the gun to this mouthfeel metric, and I think like now that we've gone through the normal steps of this show, you should feel relieved and released to talk about that next metric that you're looking for.
Yeah, so like as a person, I'm just always thinking ahead, like a big next step gal. But the thing is mouthfeel, and that's where it really gets me, because I could have water or I could have an experience. And this is an experience.
I'm going to write that down.
That's the canned copy they need. The Good and Gather promise is one I'm very glad I took and I'm sworn to protect, but they need additional copy to keep us, you should submit something to them, I think.
You know what? I'll submit something if they sponsor our podcast. How's that?
Yes.
I'll write copy for them if they sponsor our podcast.
We got to get that sponsorship.
So did you give us a number?
Oh, I'm gonna second Nick. I'm really gonna mess up your rankings because I like to do things my own way. I'm gonna second Nick 600,060.
600,060.
Hell yeah! Wow,
Nick, do you think that was a good follow-up to the edginess that you provided earlier? And also, you can take us away on mouthfeel.
No, because it didn't even have 69 in it.
I said 69. You didn't hear me say 69.
Literally.
You know who I am.
Literally didn't say it.
I literally said it.
Okay.
You said 600,000. 600.
69. I said 600,069.
Laura Shilley says, I did not hear 69. Nico says, I did not hear 69. Laura Shilley posts 600,00060 in the chat.
It was 600,060.
There's been a mutiny. My God, poor Marina. What the hell?
Whoa, forever. Oh, DJ's coming in and he's saying he heard it. He heard the 69.
Okay, see,
I think it was she just had your brain complete the number for you.
Maybe.
I mean, I think that 69 is always on my brain. So it's just like
it's implied.
There.
Like it's an asterisk on everything you say.
Like, yes, it is the asterisk to every metric, to every any number, really. It's just it's there.
It's always there.
It should be
our
assumed.
eternal North Star.
Okay, Nick, you continue this disintegration of all of our standards. Nick, you're up.
I'm going to be serious about this one. I think that this particular sparkling water has a really carbonated mouthfeel compared to others. I would probably put it like in the 600s compared to most other things. Like my top of the line mouthfeel beverage probably is Coca-Cola. It gives me the most bubbles, the most kind of like, I kind of burp a little bit every sip I take.
Hell yeah.
And this particular bubble water, I think, gives me a lot of burping. I don't want to call it gas because it's mouth gas, but compared to other flavors, I've noticed that this particular one is very kind of, I don't want to say harsh, but more bubbly than others. So if I'm looking for a real bubble going down my throat, Good and Gather.
You're just here for the gastric discomfort.
Yeah, you like that carnal beverage, that really like depraved beverage that just gets you going.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the number?
I would say like in the 600s, probably like 669.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I have switched to Good and Gather whole ass prior to the show because I had my first 6-pack, or I guess they come in 8s, probably a month or two ago, and it was like tasting like LaCroix for the first time again, because I think that Target and our subsequent friends at Good and Gather have like really mastered this. And it's like where like the money that Target makes, they should make the best in-house like sparkling water because they have all the money in the world to do so, and they actually did it. So I want to celebrate them with this mouthfeel because I've been impressed so thoroughly, even continuously to now. So I'm going to give this, keeping with our tradition now, a 34-35.
God,
what
is going on?
So that's 3,435. And for those who know, they get what I'm trying to say, keeping with their theme. So, Rick, to you.
My own show's turning against me slowly. Marina's put on the angry hat. I think we
got the hat now.
I think that like
Shania Twain loves this hat. Excuse me.
Shania's in the chat now.
We did something to her, and now she has to wear the dark hat of doom, and I think we should all be afraid for the future of the show.
See, Nick left. I mean, he's out. Like, we're done. The show's over. Nick's gone. Like,
this is what happens. Do you guys regret asking us to be on your show? Yes.
just unrelenting. I love it. Oh my god.
The chat is saying all our trust in the system is broken.
It's gone.
So let me.
Marina, I have to ask: is the hat? Is it like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce? Do you have Shania Fierce with that hat? Is that your your dark side?
Okay, so I guess yeah. So I acquired this hat at. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Waterloo Optimist Club annual bull ride. Because that's where I acquired this hat at my very first rodeo. It was my first rodeo.
Wow. That's perfect.
And as someone who's currently in our chat right now, Sarah Dubes, there's a photograph taken of me in the hat, and then I said, haha, wouldn't it be funny if I was on a phone case? Like a picture of me. I had a phone case with my own picture on it, like Kim, because I love Kim. And
Kim who?
Kim Kardashian.
Kim.
That's another person that I don't know if you know. I don't think a lot. She's kind of indie. But yeah, so then Sarah Duval surprised me and made a phone case with me and the hat and put it for sale on the internet. And so you could buy me as a phone case, a shower curtain, throw pillow, box. And then I wore this on Halloween as Shania Twain, and then Shania Twain liked my picture. So I'm
no way.
I'm set.
Oh my god, you're set. What more is there to do?
I have nothing left to accomplish.
Damn.
I don't really want to do anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, for sure.
I'm just going to try to offset what's going on here and rate mouthfeel 0 for no particular reason.
He's trying to bring the scale down.
Finally, the most qualitative metric of all, emotion.
Yes.
Marina?
I mean, priceless, is that a number?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, I'm writing it down. It's just like the infinity symbol.
Value, but yeah.
Yeah. There's really not too much else for me to say on the way that this makes me feel, other than it gives me hope for tomorrow.
President Lincoln in the chat says, shameless merch self-promotion? I thought this was a no free pub zone. I love how you guys are no free pub, and then you come into our show and just start plugging GoFundMes and phone cases and
shower curtains.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't make any money off of it. It's my likeness. I was vintage cowgirl on the internet. So some man has me as a shower curtain as vintage cowgirl, and nobody knows who she is. Who is she?
Oh no.
It's me.
It's you.
I need that shower curtain.
Shania Fierce. Wow.
Yes. Shania Fierce. I don't even like country.
Laura Shilley exclaims, "Who is she?" in the chat. Yeah, let's get some "Who is she's" in the chat.
Yeah. Load it up.
Nick, emotion?
I'm gonna go priceless as well. This one holds a lot of emotion for me. It's I think it's the first Good and Gather that we ever publicly promoted on the pod. It's my staple Good and Gather, and I couldn't live without it.
Wow.
We're getting lots of "Who is she's" in the chat. Thanks, chat.
That's what we need.
Can we get a "Who is he" for me, please?
We'll see.
So
I'm not going to signal boost that, but we'll see what they say.
Let's keep it. Rick, emotionally, I hate to not bring it back to earth, but I'm an artist, and I need to work in the material world, and I think if I had emotion, for this drink, I will say I don't know if I could feel any better than I do right now, given the vibe. And every drink, it's not just the drink, it's the vibe. It's the room. It's all of that. So I think I'm going to go with priceless.
Oh, okay. Got it. Cool.
I'm going to go with priceless as well.
I can just see Rick's heart breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick is so upset right now.
my heart was breaking for a period of time. It was breaking, but it was breaking open.
Yes.
My heart was an egg that was cracking, and me as a little chick inside of the egg, inside of the yolk. I ate the yolk. I grew myself up. I started to grow so big inside of myself that the whole world started to feel small. And that might have been the breaking that you saw. But it was breaking, and it was breaking, but it was the shell cracking. And now I'm a little baby bird crawling out of the egg, crawling out of my shell. This shit is fucking priceless.
Yay, we did it. He's like the Grinch. We made his heart grow from 0 to a priceless.
I've never seen Rick do that, whatever that was. It just have like the ooh sparkle eyes emoji eyes was really scary, and I'm glad I wasn't alone to see that. Incredible. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you so much, Rick. I feel, as speak for Nick too, I think that we feel seen in our appreciation.
God. Oh boy.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you all for the help there.
Of course.
I've completely lost all control of chat, so you guys.
Bye, chat.
Link hold highlights a message chat. We need to start an intervention for Rick. I don't think they. I think that they need to understand that this is a good moment for me. That this is my baby birding. I baby birded myself into my own mouth, and
Good. That's nice.
and we're gonna kick it over as I tabulate these scores and contemplate and contemplate reality. We're gonna kick it over to Jake for his signature series, the Horoscope Corner.
These are the.
You have no idea how excited I am for this.
Well, welcome everyone to the Horoscope Corner. I'm your host Jake Leach, and today we have it's a little bit of a new vibe on the show today, having two guests. It's a lot of firsts. We have 600,600 on mouthfeel. We've got two guests.
How am I supposed to write this in a calculator? Keep going. Sorry.
Well, and I also love that we're each wearing a different kind of hat. I just want to note that we each completely different style, and I love that.
It's
I
calculator.
like the beanie over the headphones.
It's kind of like without being like, it invokes images. It invokes images. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I'm 100% sure it's invoking something.
I feel
visual medium.
I'm feeling invoked right now. So something, as often, usually we've had one artist on at a time, and they have one sign. Well, we have two guests on, and what we decided to do instead is to see what was the sign of Cool Whip, the show, the podcast itself, on the day it was born, on the most approximate date we could. What is the sign of the show? Because I think something that people don't know is things can have signs. Cities have signs. I think anything in this world that has a birth date that you can find, a founding date, when something was erected, you might say, that has a date. And because of that, you can now have an astrological sign associated with it. So last I heard, the show was born on September 21st. And that would then subsequently make Cool Whip a Virgo. And Virgo is a mutable earth sign. And roughly what that means is an earth sign, as you probably all know earth signs, they're loyal, analytical, kind, hardworking, and practical. However, they are also, they have shyness, they worry, overly critical of self and others, all work and no play. And I think that makes sense because Cool Whip is all business. You guys just...
Only, really,
Yeah.
truly.
So
Yeah, thanks for loosening up a little bit today. I know this isn't
you guys
normal
really
for you
appreciate
guys,
you guys having
and that that this is a real stretch, and it might be kind of like off brand for you guys. But I just want to say that I appreciate it.
keep it full business.
We had to swallow a lot of pride to come on here.
Yeah.
Thank
I've
you
been
for
called
doing that.
frigid, so.
I love that the best laugh is the one you can hear way in the
Yeah.
someone's microphone. It's the best one. So we're gonna get into your guys' horoscope. Something typically we do this for the artists in their last week. because you guys are on the cusp of your next season, I like to think that we should do this for your whole past season. To reflect on the past season with this in mind. Again, we're throwing caution to the wind here. So our horoscope we have here for y'all is, you will find that you relate very well to others today, Virgo, and in the past. Your communication will prove to be quite valuable. You may find yourself You may find yourself in the position of arbiter simply because you have detached mind that people need to resolve disputes. Take an active role in the lives of those around you and see how your life, how your own life benefits from the generosity of your actions. So,
Aww.
if you guys could just kind of ruminate on your past season with maybe that in mind, what's coming to mind here?
Island Nick, go for it.
Happiness. Happiness and feeling grateful that we had some really awesome guests that we got to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, it was, in retrospect, I like the term arbiter, kind of.
Yeah.
Because I like to think that everybody that we have on, we're just giving them an opportunity to be exactly like who they are, and we're just like the conduit for that, and being able to like stimulate those kind of conversations in a genuine way has been like, that was the goal when we started, and I feel like that's the goal. That was the product when we ended that.
Absolutely.
So, that first season. So.
Well, and Google defines arbiter technically as a person or podcast who settles a dispute or has ultimate authority in a matter. So I think
yes.
the pursuit of the arbiter is never done, but that is in your guys' world, and we thank you for sharing your light onto us, and I hope that you can arbituate.
Yeah.
Barbiturate, yes.
Barbiturate our show.
Arbite.
And now to my favorite section of our little horoscope corner is, who are the rappers that share the same sign as you all and this podcast? So in this case, we
One
have...
second here, Jake. Before we get to that, let's build some anticipation.
Sure. Okay, let's do it.
Daily Bastard in the chat says, is that the Marina May?
Oh, God. Who is that? Yeah?
Daily Bastard. Very sharp headwear in this stream, also says Daily Bastard. And President Linkhold redeemed some channel points to ask the question to you, why are you like this? So that's that was the question. That was the channel point redemption there.
Gotcha. Wow.
We just be like this.
We be like this. It do be, you know?
Yeah. Do be or not do be.
They don't think it be like it is, but it do.
But it do, y'all.
Do be. All right. The anticipation has been properly built. Jake, take us away.
I love this so much. So there's just so much here. Our Virgo rappers, and what a cast you guys have in this world. First we have Lil Yachty, Lil Xan, Lil Tecca, Wiz Khalifa, Eazy-E, Rockin' It Old School and in the New School, Famous Dex. We've got Flo Rida,
nice,
2 Chainz, Ugly God, Rich Brian, Ludacris, Nas. God, what a balance!
It's a lot there.
West, Skepta,
he keeps
Joe
going.
Budden. Oh, it keeps going. Wale. Who we got? Foxy Brown.
Yes.
And I saved the best for last, in my personal favorite, Playboy Cardi.
Ooh.
You guys, my goodness. You guys are in good company. Do any of those particular ones feel like they speak to you?
Lil Yachty.
Yeah, Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty, Ugly God.
Ugly God, for sure. Love, shout out.
Nick, what's your favorite Lil Yachty song?
Oh, God, I don't have a favorite, but right now I've been listening to Top Down a lot because it's just such a good song. I think Yachty's great on everything.
Yeah, I really like Lil Boat. I like the personality, and I like him kind of like shifting into like dividing those more. And I think that he should continue to kind of divide them. Like he has the little Yachty stuff, and then he has the little Boat stuff. because those are like those are completely different vibes, and both like very relevant inside of the type of music that he makes. And you know, maybe that's kind of like you know, the Marina Nick connection on Cool Whip, that like someone's the little yachty, someone's the little boat. Sometimes you switch it up, little boat and little yachty, you do a song together, do an album together.
Yeah, no
I think Yachty and Tyler need to do a song together where Lil Boat and Igor can have their own section too.
Oh, or Little T. I wonder if Tyler's ever gonna drop like a what is he? Is it Little T or is it Young T? I don't know. He drops that from time to time, but that'd be a cool collaboration if he lets that cat out of the bag at some point.
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very good.
Anyway, Lil Boat or am I Lil Boat?
You can be a Lil Boat.
I mean, my name is Marina, so I'll take Lil Boat. You can be Lil Yachty.
I got Island Nick too in the chat. I mean, my God, like y'all are on theme, on brand for sure.
I got my Lil Boat hat on though.
Lil Boat.
All right, that's gonna take us to the end of our first segment here. We're gonna slow down and take a short break. I did want to let you know that I did tabulate the results of the Can Crucible numbers here, and the number that I got to was hold on, sorry.
It's gonna take a while.
I have to understand this.
It's
I think
it's
696,969.69 repeating, I think, was what it ended up coming out.
Hell
to.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like kind of crazy that I put all of those into the calculator and did like the normal math, and that's what it came up with. Like,
that's wild.
It was really
calculus.
Yeah, it was like really
I had
fitting.
a math professor friend of mine do the same calculations, and they came up with the same number. So
oh, cool.
Okay, perfect.
we're good.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Is it the nutty professor?
Thanks guys. Bye. So that's a show. That's a show that's happening. That's what's going on here today at the travel agency on Art Brunch. If you're interested in checking out Cool Whip, check out these links I'm popping in the chat. If you want to hang out with us at the travel agency, check out these links that we're popping in the chat. If it's your first time on Twitch, and it probably is, I'm looking at you, follow the stream. It really helps. Just click the little follow button. Your name will pop up, and we'll all go, wow! So check that out. Try that button out. Make sure that one's still working. Thank you all for sticking around. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we may or may not be more or less serious. So you'll just have to tune in to find out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Welcome us back to the show. Thanks for sticking around. Wise Guy McFly says wave in the chat. What's up, Wise Guy? Alex Optional with the Alex Optional custom face emote in the chat. The Alex Op smile. What's up, Alex? Thank you all for hanging out. This, if you don't know, is Art Brunch, episode 6 of season 2. We have our guests Cool Whip here, a subsidiary of Silver Space. For those of you that are just joining us, I did want to let you know what Cool Whip is. Cool Whip, in the fall of 2019, Silver Space was awarded a generous gift from the Luminary's Future Fund, which helped jumpstart the podcast Cool Whip, hosted by co-founder and editor Marina May and artist Nick Schleicher. He didn't tell me if I did it right or wrong the first time. Cool Whip is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Cool Whip brings you in-depth, theoretical, witty, serious, and absurd conversations with artists, curators, and leaders who are continuously active in our community. Yeah, Ferrari. You know what I'm talking about. R.I.P. Ferrari this year. R.I.P. Ferrari this year. James Van Zant. J.M. Van Sant says syrup. What's up? What's up, J.M.?
Code word syrup.
All
right, welcome back, y'all.
Hi.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having us.
Oh, we're live.
I'm a part of Cool Whip now. I'm actually not on Art Brunch. So you should interview me with them now. Sorry.
Wait, that's how this happens?
We just made a little deal, a little backdoors deal while on the break, and I'm actually in Cool Whip now. Sorry.
Damn.
You switched.
Guess
Yeah.
I'll just go back to
Switch
what I
hands.
used to do. Run
We
this
got the
ship by
syrup.
myself, on my
Well,
own,
You know,
no breaks.
I mean, we'll make it happen, Rick. I'll see you on summers, on weekends, alternative Thursdays. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll have like a divorce kid settlement. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, exactly. So what's up, my two
And
guests?
he's out of here.
And I'm gone.
That's
Wow.
what happens when you join Cool Whip.
It was a joke, Rick. Please, my
Treachery.
God.
Alex says treachery. Laura Shilley hearted syrup. I don't know if I missed the joke, but I think it's a good joke. I'm happy you said syrup in the chat.
Syrup's in the chat.
Syrup's in the chat.
Okay.
Wait, syrup. How do you guys say syrup? Syrup?
I say syrup.
No, you do not.
No,
Tanette.
syrup. Do people say syrup? Syrup?
It's actually pronounced scissorp.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jake's right.
S to the Izzo.
Scissor. You're right.
Just saying.
H to the sizzle, B to the syrup.
Did you know Kanye West produced that song?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I found that
He
out
produced all the
recently.
good ones.
He
Yeah.
produced it. I was like, I didn't know he did.
Clangers out the gate.
I thought Linkin Park produced that song.
Woe Forever's asking,
That was
wasn't a
later.
shower curtain in the deal?
Oh,
Did-
later.
Oh.
Later.
And Alex Optional digs the hats. So in the second part of this show, we talk a little bit about like the art. Typically, we have visual artists on the show, but that's slowly changing. We wanted to broaden the. DJ asks, Jake, did you get a shower curtain as a part of the deal for switching to Cool Whip? Which makes a lot of
It's
sense.
in discussions. My people are talking to their people.
Okay.
I'd like to go on
We're
record and
still
say
working
I
it out.
like one.
Put it on the rider.
Yeah, but next to the green M&Ms. But
Yeah.
that's, we'll talk. We'll chat.
But yeah, so typically with the visual artists, and as we kind of grow as a show, we want to open it up to curators, people that are working in art institutions or working in art nonprofits, as we like move ourselves into the nonprofit space slowly this year as well. So instead of like looking at the work in this segment, which is what we typically do, we're going to talk about the podcast and talk about kind of like some of its beginnings or the direction of it. But the place that I think is best to start is this place here in Silver Space's mission. And I think Silver Space's mission is really close to the mission of the travel agency. In Silver Space's mission, it says, providing a platform that showcases artists of all disciplines while challenging the stigmas that surround comprehending art. Inclusive, generative, community-backed resources and the widest possible audience. So that's kind of like the synopsis of that part there. But I think that there's something really powerful about challenging the stigmas around comprehending art. That's like why Art Brunch is like casual conversations about contemporary art that I think a lot of artists, a lot of people in our like in our cohort or a lot of our peers are all coming to this idea at the same time that like the spaces that are set out for contemporary art discourse and conversation are often like highly like fraught with issues of like etiquette and access. They're often in spaces that are inaccessible or don't feel appropriate for a lot of people to go to, and like by doing that sometimes the artist can feel like they have to like limit the expression of themselves in those like formal speaking spaces. But I just wanted to kind of start there and ask you all how this idea of challenging stigmas that surround comprehending art came to the forefront of Silver Space's mission.
Marina.
Okay. Yeah. So that the challenging and the ability to gain access to understanding art was something that kind of hit me my senior year of college, because I was studying art history. I had, this, big lexicon of like knowledge and, whatever. And this like, I don't want to say like haughty outlook on it, but like you really do, like you feel like an insider when you study art, and then you go to a place like a museum or a show when you're able to understand or comprehend it because of, you know, the brain goo in there. But like my first project in college was to write a wall label for the St. Louis Art Museum. It was a Bosch and Bruegel show, and the whole point was to write an extended label, which meant that it was an opportunity to get someone to take more than the 4 seconds, because when you go to a museum, the average time that somebody spends looking at a work is 4 seconds. They like read the wall label and then they look at a work for 4 seconds. And the whole goal of that was to get someone to look at the work for longer than 4 seconds. And so that concept kind of stuck with me. And I was like, after my senior year in college, I started working at the Contemporary Art Museum. And I kind of noticed how intimidating, especially a lot of contemporary art was, even for somebody with like an insider knowledge of that. And I was scared of the work. I was scared to like give a read. I was scared to critique. I was scared to, you know, think about things, because it felt inaccessible to me. And I was like, if this feels inaccessible to me, I can't imagine what it's like for somebody else, for, you know, on a number of metrics. So when I started Silver Space with Sarah, we wanted to kind of break that down and make it feel like you could be in that space and you can provide an opportunity for an artist to speak without the pressure on them to feel like they have to revise what they're saying constantly because they have to live up to, you know, some sort of like academic standard. And we basically just wanted to bring work that we loved to the widest possible audience. I don't know if that made any sense.
It did.
Whatsoever.
No, it did.
Okay.
It made a lot of
100%.
sense. Yeah, I actually had that article from STL Public Radio as one of like the references that I wanted to bring up at the first part of this. Like, you're quoted in that article saying, if I was a friend describing this to another friend, how would I get them to look at it? Washington University student Marina May says, you know, like it's great to have this like this juxtaposition between in St. Louis, like what's understood to be like the golden, I mean, in some ways, like the golden ticket to the art industry is like this Washington University, Sam Fox School degree, but then to like go through that process and that program, and then to say like, how would I get them to stick around and be like, oh, look, that's really cool. Like it's really awesome to think that, like, first of all, I think it's helpful to let people know like the levels of education that you've gone through, but then also like because of that education, or in spite of that education, depending on how you want to look at it, that you come back to this idea of accessibility. So I think what you said made a lot of sense, and it is really important to start challenging those things. When I think about contemporary art and being involved in it, like we have these structures of viewing art at like SLAM, at St. Louis Art Museum, where in most of the museum you can go there as like a normal person for this act of like appreciation, that we're taught that like the way that you look at art is through this lens of appreciation, and you appreciate it through the history or the legacy or just like purely its age. But a lot of those lenses of appreciation start to disintegrate when you get to more modern and then like contemporary works, because the amount of information that's propagated in a popular culture to give somebody the tools to appreciate this work is like not as much. So they get in there and they're like, wait, how am I supposed to appreciate this? Instead of like engaging in the critical conversation in the contemporary moment. Like CAM is a space for critique, is a space for criticism. Like you can come in there without a BFA or an MFA and look at the work and develop your own approach to understanding the work, and like it's all super valid, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you kind of hit that too. I think that when in looking at art, one of the things that I think a lot of people think is, well, what am I looking at? What am I supposed to be looking at?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that you're supposed to be looking at what you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And with older works, it's people, there's like a history and a context and like this whole canon behind like why it is, you know, we're looking at these things, and that's a whole other conversation. But with modern and contemporary, there is more fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think dependent on like subject matter as well, those access points can be, you know, more recent or more kind of like readily available.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe the images are being culled from like recent pop culture or dealing with, you know, ongoing subject matter that's like readily available. But I think too with contemporary art, because it deviates so much from, you know, that historical canon and can be way more conceptual, I think that there is, you know, another barrier to understanding that, because then that's not art in the kind of like layperson's understanding of like what a textbook work of art is, like painting, like on canvas, you know what I mean?
Well, and it's hard to communicate that with individuals as a part of like a learning structure and say like high school, because like we still haven't ratified the history of contemporary art. Like that's the whole point, is that the history is like not yet ratified, and we're kind of getting to that place with modern art where like I hear less and less people saying my 5-year-old could do it as time goes on, because those works are starting to make like more sense. There's enough time, and it's been distilled enough through the process of like institutional function and messaging, that it's like, oh, okay, like modern art, cool. But then you get into like pop art, like now pop art's kind of in that spot, or you know, there's kind of this like changing timeline as things become more solidified and ratified in art history. But like that's the whole thing that's hard and challenging about contemporary art, is like this is the beginnings of like its ratification of like placing it in the broader art historical context. And we're not really sure like if the show at Cam is eventually going to make its way into a new wing at Slam.
Right.
Yeah. I hope that's not too jargony for people, but definitely something that I think about a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the cool part is that right now I feel like the way in which we assign value to things is so much different than how it has been, you know, previously.
Mm-hmm.
So if, you know, not saying that like Cool Whip the podcast or, you know, a platform like y'all, like it has, you know, the tremendous impact to like rewrite a textbook, but if you have the ability to bring attention to something that you think is relevant and important because you believe that it has value to you, then maybe that contributes to like its value at large. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the segue that I was looking for, in that like that same structure that happens between contemporary art museums and new wings, like when the museum has to build a new wing to contain whatever the next wing is, you know, then like the same thing goes for like the gallery space. Like the gallery space and like the interactions that we have at this level of artists is like giving each other attention and helping each other clarify our positions in the world, and like culminating those. So then like the gallery is the gallery, like Monaco is the gallery that's helping us begin the beginning of the ratification process. But like Cool Whip and what I hope for Art Brunch and for the travel agency is like another form of beginning to tell that story of these people who then continue their journey, and that's what happened with Silver Space in the connection with you, Nick, right? So if I understand correctly, Silver Space, I don't think it was you, Marina, who interviewed Nick, but somebody from the organization. Oh, okay.
That was
Interviewed Nick.
I mean, when they were first starting out, they were doing a lot of just the written interviews, obviously.
Oh, our stream dropped.
I had
1 second.
a show coming up at
1 second,
Grease
Nick.
3. Did I cut out?
Yeah, 1 second.
Freeze?
Okay, our stream dropped for a brief moment, but we're back on now. So if you could just tell us again how your connection with Silver Space began.
I had a show coming up at Grease 3, RIP, and I had seen that Silver Space had done a couple of interviews with some artists that I was familiar with in St. Louis, and they were open, most importantly, they were open to solicitation. And so I emailed them and I was like, hey, I have a show coming up at Grease 3. I'd like to promote it. I'd be interested in meeting with you guys. And they came over, Marina, Sarah, and they had an intern at the time, came over to my studio and did an interview and promoted the show that way. And I just got, familiar with Marina and Sarah through that. And that's kind of how I got pulled into Cool Whip over the years. Marina would come over and work with Laura on Silver Space stuff. So we became pretty close, and she'd always talked about doing a podcast. I was always interested in the idea of a podcast too, because when I discover a new artist, I look up as many interviews with the artist as possible, because I feel like that's my best way of getting in the headspace of the artist. I don't really like to read a lot of the curatorial kind of writings about the work, because I feel like a lot of times they kind of just, like we said, they take their art jargon and they kind of press that artist's work through this like mold that then makes their writings
spaghetti.
Valid. But I mean, I'm not trying to say it's invalid. They do what they do for a reason. But
yeah.
I think it's more important for me to hear what the artist has to say about their work, from their own mouth. And I felt like, going to openings and things, there's a lot of questions that I had that I wanted to ask the artist, but being an artist, I hate when people ask me those questions at an opening. I don't want to have to sit there and explain the work when I'm trying to bounce around and talk to other people. And so I thought it would be cool to just be able to have these conversations with the artists, so that it would give access to the audience, what the artist thinks about their work. They could be pretty candid about it. And I feel like interviewing someone, it pretty quickly breaks down that art jargon that you can fall back on with your artist statements, etc.
Yeah, and you have that opportunity in the model to, set the stage and set the intention. I'm sure there are art podcasts that like kind of are an extension of like the institutional way of speaking and disseminating information. And again, not to insult that, I think that there is value in theory. And I think that there's value in art historical context and space, especially depending on the artist and where they're at in their career. But with Cool Whip, there's, like out of the gate, it has this funness to it. It has this like work in progress. I always get those messed up, and it makes me feel like I'm like a mushmouth man. What is it?
Same mission.
Work in progress?
Work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like solidify that in my brain. Maybe this is the moment. But the work in progress idea of it too is like we're working. Like we're all working. We're not established. I mean, like some of the artists go in between like being very like established figures, and other people are like very in that like emerging stage, and even from my perspective, the people that I think as more established artists are definitely works in progress as well. So like from the beginning, Cool Whip kind of has this fun vibe. It's like, let's get together, let's be cool, and let's hang out, which I think sets an interesting stage for the conversations that you all end up having on the show.
It's been nice kind of playing off of that that kind of branding that we've set out from the beginning, the kind of fun, more playful vibe, I guess, because when we can interview the artist, they come into it with that mindset too. They're not coming in with their their thesis ready to go. They're just kind of coming into it with an open mind.
Jake, did you have something to say?
Oh yeah, I was just since we like know the meaning of the name clearly, but like how did you guys what was the process of coming up with the name?
There's like a text chain of a million things, and Marina came up with Cool Whip out of the blue.
No, so it was such a joke because we had to submit for the grant, for the Futures Fund grant. They were like, what's the name of your project? And I just like kept thinking. I was like, I don't know, like name, like work in progress, like I don't know a name for this. And then it was a group text, and I was just like, what if we just called it Cool WIP, like work in progress? Because I can't think of anything else. And then it made sense.
Were there any
It's
ones
not that
prior?
you couldn't think of anything else. It's that you could only think of one.
Okay, because my question was going to be, were there any demos? Yeah, like were there any ones that were like, that was almost the title? Like what's on the cutting room
There's
floor?
nothing that stands out in my mind. I think we threw out a bunch of bullshit and nothing was good.
Sure.
Mostly me throwing out stupid things.
I can only think of you, Cool WIP.
Yeah, you only have eyes for Cool WIP.
I really wanted to go with Nick Schleicher's podcast, but
wow, power grab.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, he was gonna infringe upon my territory there.
Wow.
Yeah, the Nick Schleicherettes.
The Nick Schleicher hour.
Jeez.
Exactly.
The so then Nico says total Conan move.
Total. Just Conan. Just Nick. That's the name of the show.
We're gonna start making merch and just a Schleicher on it.
Yeah, there you go.
And Laura says Grease 3 R.I.P. That was from a little bit ago, but yes, R.I.P. But
yeah, that was a pretty big running joke when we started the podcast. It couldn't have been like a full episode, like a full complete episode of work in progress, you know, without mentioning Grease 3. Okay. So Grease 3 is an instrumental, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. So now this is a full episode now. You know what I mean?
We've hit the marks. We've really hit all the moments. Yeah.
You have to like check off everything in the Matrix for sure.
Okay, good. Oh, I'm glad that we are staying on brand. What is the so why a podcast, and in a broader sense, and you can choose to answer this however you want, but what do you think the role of a podcast is in the St. Louis art scene? I think that there's something there, but I'm not sure if like there was a thought process around like why take the step to make a podcast. And Marina or Nick, you can answer it. I'm not sure who has better insight. I think
that like the podcast, I'll just speak first because I know Marina's going to go for a little bit on this one, but I think the podcast is important as an artist because, you know, we're working with our hands so much. I know a lot of artists listen to podcasts while we're making work. So that was the first initial kind of, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I wanted to do podcasts. I know when Marina and Sarah and Laura were doing the initial interviews, they were recorded and they became very like kind of long form conversations that they would have to then filter down into a couple paragraphs for the webpage. And I think that's kind of really where it came from.
Yeah, no, Nick, what was that?
I was just handing over to you.
Yeah, we'll just prepare to age 100 years as you take us on this long explanation.
Well, the short explanation is I love podcasts. I'm a podcast junkie. Nick is a podcast junkie as well. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so we had just volume of like recorded material, and I would transcribe, or Laura would transcribe the interviews in full. And there are a couple that really stick out to me, but the one that like pretty much like pushed me over the edge to where, because people had been like kind of coming up and saying like, you guys should make a podcast. And I was like, that would be great. I don't know how to do that, but okay. But the interview that really pushed me over the edge was Brittany Boynton's for her opening show at when she opened with Liz Moore at Kunst, their first show, their inaugural show. That was like, we were sitting on the back porch of Kunst, aka the best gallery on, what is it, Arkansas Street or whatever down there. They've since moved and haven't done a show in the pandemic times. But we were sitting on the back porch, and I just found myself like re-listening to the audio and the conversation with Brittany like over and over because it was so funny and it was poignant and deep. And I was like, I don't know if there's any way for me to like properly transcribe this in an interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that kind of like from that point, I was like very open and keen on the idea of doing a podcast because I felt like other people needed to hear directly from the artist. And like editorial content is cool and great, and I love to like talk about and theorize and critique and evaluate, you know, works, which, you know, I haven't done in a while. But the most interesting thing to me is the ability to really get into somebody's brain in a conversation that is making a work. Because it's a different experience. You never get to do that. And where we have this like unique ability right now to be anthropological in that way. Like there's no other point in history could you listen to like a 2.5 hour interview with like Gerhard Richter on a podcast. I don't know how fun that would be.
Young Gerhard Richter.
Yeah, but like you can't do that. We have the ability to do that, and to be able from like an anthropological or like historical lens be able to go back in like 25 years and be like, what was happening right now? Like what was amazing right now? Like you can hear that. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about that because I think that a lot of people don't think about their podcasts or maybe editorial spaces as like archival, like sort of almost like library style things. That it's and you know, it's not just that, oh, I just have cool friends and I want them to be known. Because I do think in a city like St. Louis that there are kind of some gaps where people in the scene are like, oh, I'm just going to fill it myself. I'm just going to make sure that these people have a voice. But I think beyond that, you know, it's not just like zines and show posters, you know, in terms of like bands or something like, or like radio rips from the one time your friend was on KDHX in St. Louis. So like now it's like, well, we can record this ourselves. We can be our own, you know, STL on the air. We can be our own podcast and not just like have our cool friends, but because you guys, I think have the curiosity, but also the curatorial wherewithal to be like, these people are awesome and here's why, not just because they're my homies. And beyond that, people that may not know these people's art at this exact time, because any of these artists could go move on to you know, any corner of the world, but you would know exactly where they were at that moment.
Right. It's like it's such an interesting opportunity, and I kind of liked how so the St. Louis art scene community, and I'm curious to kind of like hear what y'all think about this too, but like it's small enough, it's big, but it's small enough to where like you do have homies. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And like even I wanted to, and I think Nick felt this way as well, but like wanted to not only like speak to our friends who, you know, we love and we've known, but we wanted to like make new friends in that. You know what I mean?
That's the only reason people start podcasts, let's be honest.
Totally self-serving.
Is it just make new friends? It's an excuse.
Make new friends and keep the old. That's the Girl Scout code of honor.
Yeah, so I want to.
We're way ahead of it on the podcast.
I want to put a kibosh on you asking us questions because you're not going to take over our show.
Okay, Conan. I know you're on Letterman. We see you. We get it.
Start asking us questions. I just want to let you know that kind of shit's not going to fly around here. But to answer this one question, yeah, I mean we like consider that we consider that and struggle with it at points where like in the formation of creating the show, it's like, okay, I want all my friends to come on all right away and like let's knock that out. But like, and that's cool, like that's kind of how I got started, but even kind of from the beginning of Art Brunch, it was like, okay, who can I reach out to? Who can I like work the network? Like after I had Moira on, like Moira is like one of my favorite people in the world, and I was like, Moira, like who should I have on next? And then she sent me like a list of 5 people that I had never talked to, but then I could just say like, hey, Moira said I should reach out to you and have you on this thing and like work inside of these networks and try not to have it be like nepotic. Like I don't want this show to ever be like self-serving in the sense of like I'm having this person on because they're my homie. Like most of the time, even if somebody is my friend, I'm having them on because I'm really, really interested in their work and I want to like have an opportunity to talk with them semi-professionally about what they're doing, which can still be kind of hard to do even with our friends. So it gives us that opportunity to set aside an hour for you all, or I don't know how long the recordings are, multiple hours, and then for us like 3 hours to just be focused on them. Like when you're hanging out with somebody, there's always this interplay of like, oh, you should talk next, or we should talk next, or like I want to make sure you're feeling heard. No, I want to make sure you're feeling heard. It's like, no, come on to Art Brunch, and like it's my delicious opportunity to like ask you all the questions that I've wanted to talk to you about, and there's no getting out of it. You just like have to answer my questions.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
fun to like force people to do that. Sorry, Nick, go
well,
ahead.
no, it feels like whenever you're recording it, something happens and they immediately go into this other state of kind of explaining, where you kind of break down, even though you're friends and you can kind of be lighthearted. There's like a sense of gravity to it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and
really
I think
important.
it's funny that like, you know, we're talking about bringing more people, you know, allowing more access to these ideas, and like how can we do that in a gallery space? Well, it's like, well, how do we do that in a media space? You know, like how can we not just broaden it by using language that is more open, but I'm gonna like bring in an artist that they themselves maybe didn't get as much exposure as you would like. And I think inevitably you kind of become your own curatorial service in a way. Like you are your own curator. So I'm curious, in the sense of a like you guys being curators now in the podcast world, like we want to have these, you know, I think 15 episodes in season 2. We'll have that many more artists. How do you guys approach that as far as, you know, emphasizing certain ones and kind of making those decisions?
We kind of just have like a long list running of people like dream guests, and then other people kind of come up as things happen. I think that's kind of why taking the break has been nice, because things are happening, but toward the end of the podcast, it was nice because at the beginning we were interviewing people that we were like very close with, you know, so we could kind of work out our kinks. I don't want to say that, you know, those weren't as good as the later ones, but I think we worked a lot of stuff out. And then as the podcast started going, it was funny because like we had a list of people, we were going to stop at 12, but the cam thing happened, so we kind of expanded, and then some other things happened, and we added a couple extra interviews toward the end that just really kind of put a nice exclamation point on the end of the season. I think really finished us off strong. And so we're open to like, you know, things coming our way, which is kind of nice. We don't have a set roster for season 2. We haven't really reached out to a lot of people yet. So I like how it kind of just goes organically.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it could backfire, but I'm hoping it doesn't.
I want to take that opportunity to shout out what's, you know, part of the reason why you all are here too is season 2 is coming. You all had funding from the generous Futures Fund from Luminary, from the Luminary for the first season, which is awesome that they do. And I think that project got kind of turned into a COVID-centric granting fund for artists experiencing struggles this year. So that's great that the money is going there, and I'll be curious to see if Future Funds shifts its focus again back when we can get past this damn pandemic. But right now, Cool Whip Season 2 has a GoFundMe available, and the copy, I like the copy. It's, we need your help. When we first started the podcast, we had no idea anybody would even care. But because of your rave reviews, we're excited to serve you up a second heaping spoonful of 15 dope conversations. With your help, you can make this happen. And we want to like shout that out. And I just personally want to ask travel agency viewers, if you have something to spare, I'm going to drop that link into the chat, the GoFundMe specifically. But if you have something to spare, if you have something you can contribute to Cool Whip, like $1, $5, like whatever it is, like go help them, because this shit's expensive. Your donation's going to support their audio equipment, their platform subscriptions. I don't know if y'all know this, but it costs money to upload podcasts to platforms. Like it costs real money. Post-production services so they can pay their people, publicity and marketing, so like you don't have to donate in the future, that some other poor schlub will have to donate in the future. you know, like you can take a break and let somebody else in the massive network donate in the future, but please donate now. And time and labor, because like it's a labor of love, but like it can be a labor of love and money.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and like y'all deserve money for what you're doing. And if you're in the chat and you've listened to an episode, or if you listen to 5, like think about like the value of that, and think about what the value of that is. And like it's probably $5, you know, $5 a year. If you can do that, that's crazy. So if you go donate to the link I dropped in the chat there, tell them travel agency sent you. And we're really excited for season 2 to be coming.
Absolutely. For the price of one trip to Starbucks, instead you can fund actual service in society, not just your next sugar blast. So
just take one off.
Yeah,
just
thanks,
take one
thanks for
off.
promoting.
Yeah.
Don't make
That's
us get
dope.
Ira Glass to call you. You guys been listening to
Oh,
Cool
yeah.
It for free. We're gonna have Ira call and make you feel so guilty, and we're gonna put it on the podcast.
This
Yeah.
is live on Twitch too. We could just start FaceTiming people.
yeah, we need let's get someone on the air and just really blast them and get their credit card information over the air.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
I think we should reach out to Dennis Rodman first.
okay.
First, number one.
That's the first person. But A, thank you, Rick. And B, Jake, it is so funny that you bring up like your next Starbucks order, because I think about like my charitable donations in terms of like, this is one Trente iced cold brew with a double shot that I could have spent these funds
Yes.
doing something more productive. And Nick did shame me into donating monthly to St. Louis Public Radio.
Hey,
So
I
whenever
I
they
as
get-
well do that. So, but yes. Well, and honestly, I like that idea of your exact order that you said, because that sounds like it's over $5. So actually,
a month.
everyone, is it
It's $6.67.
$6.69? So everyone, please
Yeah.
go to the GoFundMe and donate $6.69. I think everyone that does, you'll be known as the real. Is there like some list you guys gonna have, like true tier, like the donations people? Because museums have it where everyone who's donating, over 10 million or whatever the hell, you can have everyone that's done $6.69. I think that's
We've got a couple of people donated $69.
Yeah, you
well,
can't do
they're
even
the
cents.
better.
bastard club.
That's the top tier.
I'm on the
That's-
website
yeah, that's
right
the bad
now.
boys club.
I'm on the website right now because I'm getting my donation together.
Rick,
And,
yes,
and
there-
you can't do cents. You can't do cents.
can't?
Yeah.
Oh
Wow,
So they're really. I mean, like 69 cents adds up. You know what I mean?
it does.
Yeah. But
I mean-
this it's this easy. You do this. You tip GoFundMe. You drop $7, and then you're good to go. You share your credit card information live on air. You're good
Yep.
to go. So check it out. Yeah,
Check
Nico
it out,
says,
y'all.
guess you'll just have to do $69.
Yeah.
Yep, there you
Rick.
go.
There you
That's
go.
a tall
bro.
order.
Jump in-
Shout out to the travel
That's
agency.
a Trenta order. That's what that is.
That's a Trenta right there, boy.
That's right. We're Trenty vibes, bro.
Yeah, as we.
Is it Trenti or Trenta?
Is it Trent?
I should know.
Oh my
I
god.
think it's Trenta.
Is it Trent? Oh my god.
Yeah,
Excuse
but
me.
Trenti sounds so good.
The Nina, the Pinta,
It's
the
Trenta.
Trenta Maria.
I was a
Yeah.
former partner myself.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see. No, Trenty. Okay, it's Trenta. Yep. Don't
Yeah,
get it
I
twisted.
I
Oh, you know what it was? You know what it was? Venti.
Venti.
That's what I was thinking of. I was combining those. It's Venti and then Trenta.
Yeah.
It's extra
Yeah,
large.
Trenta's-
Extra,
Trenta's
extra
30.
large.
Venti's
Wow.
20,
Oh, yeah.
Trenta is 30.
And then, which is 917 milliliters of liquid, apparently. So
You guys think Dolly Parton would give us $1 million for Cool Whip?
I think she would give anyone like any number of money if
Yeah,
you're just
if you
sweet to
could-
her. Like
if
she
you
just
could
seems like
get her
y'all
on the
seem real
phone.
sweet. Here's some money. Here's $1 million.
The problem with these sponsors is getting them on the phone. If you can get them on the if I can get them on the phone, I can sell anybody.
It's true.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
You're
You
a
know?
real wolf.
I
of
get
Wall
you.
Street,
I get.
you
I
know?
get Coop on the phone. Sell you immediately. I saw the.
Yep.
I saw the shift happen. It was sold in like a minute. If I get,
Yep.
if I can get Dennis Rodman on the phone, boom, traveling to North Korea.
done. He's
Next
done.
day, air. Like we're
That's
out here. If I get Dolly Parton on the phone, free boob job. That's for me. I might gift it. I might take it myself. Like boom, it's just as easy as that.
Why not?
But
Why
it's
not?
just hard to get them on the phone.
Yeah. See, Dolly, where are you?
Nico says Dolly would
Dolly.
definitely give you $69, and
That's
Sarah
true.
Doob says Dolly for Prez.
Dolly
Yeah.
for Prez. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows.
She
She's
gets
the
it.
woman of the world.
There's a quote from Khalil Robert Irving's podcast or episode with you on Cool Whip, which I encourage everyone to check out. I was listening to it last night, and I just I thought this particular part was really cool. He said in that podcast, if you aren't receiving the validation you're looking for from your work, then you might need to consider changing what you're doing. And I think that that's like a really good thing for artists to hear. But then like where Rick comes in is flipping that around and saying that like if you are receiving the validation for or from your work, then you should consider not changing what you're doing. Like
Yes.
and like you all are receiving that validation that you're looking for, and I think that it's really important to continue what you're doing and to find ways to continue what you're doing. Oh shit, Drew Nico in the chat just says, I've been convinced. I dropped my $69. Who's next?
No way. Oh.
Bring it.
Ew.
Bring
We
it.
got
Thank
right
you
there.
so much.
We got it right there.
Oh, baby.
Wow.
Hats
Okay.
off to you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Drew. Yeah, we all hats off to you. Let's all do it in the chat.
Oh,
That
hats
put us
off. Hats
over
off.
$1,669.
Hats off to you.
Nico.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wait,
So-
that was amazing. That was so sweet. Thank you.
I can't hear you guys,
Oh my God.
but yeah. So there it is. Shout out
And I don't
to
mean to co-opt this moment, but I believe this is what's known as the Art Brunch bump. So you're welcome, guys. Just remember us when you're famous.
It does real things.
Thank you.
Shout out to Nico. I popped the links to Nico's Twitch in the chat. I know that's not what he paid for, but that's what he gets.
That's what we do. We're
Nico,
spreading the love, baby.
St. Louis streamer, does art stuff, does video games, plays Cuphead like a madman. Recently doing some runs there, so let's shout that out. Thanks, Nico.
Yeah.
Big things popping.
There's not really much we can say from that before we take our next break, so we're just gonna let that air out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to everyone for donating. I'm gonna drop my dono here in a little bit. Thank you all for watching the stream, for being a part of the travel agency, for being a part of Art Brunch today. We feel really fortunate to have Cool Whip here with us. We're going to take a short 10-minute break. You can expect us back at about 12:10, and we will talk a little bit more about the podcast, get a little deep, and then we'll go to our 10 questions of triumph and put Nick and Marina through the gauntlet. So you can look forward to that. If you're liking the stream and if you haven't followed already, please drop a follow. Keep that support up. Nico says, support the arts. Clap, clap, clap. So, yeah, practice what you preach and preach what you practice. So, shout out everyone. We're going to take our short break, and we'll be back soon. Hello, everyone. We're back. Thank you for hanging out over the break. Nico in the chat is musing about somebody running over one of his prints with a lawnmower. It's the kind of audience that you can expect from the Sunday Art Brunch. For those of you who are just joining us, we appreciate it, but you're going to definitely want to check out the archive of this to see the, frankly, wild. I don't want to use like a term, like a mental pathology to describe what took place in the first section, even though it'd probably be one of the most best use cases of that. But I would say that it was very, very wild first segment, and you're going to want to definitely check that out. So the way that you can check that out is this show is going to be archived for 2 weeks on Twitch. So you can watch the show and see the chat, and kind of follow along of the experience. Skip ahead, go back, all that cool stuff. After 2 weeks, we upload these shows to our YouTube page and to our podcast page. So I'll pop the travel agency's links in the chat there. The YouTube houses just the visual art portion of the show, which will change a little bit for this one. But typically on YouTube, you'll see the visual art portion where we're looking at slides from artists. And then the podcast is a very, very lightly edited version of the entire show for posterity there. I just cut out like the breaks, basically, or if we have any technical issues. So you can hear all of the shenanigans over there on the podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, interact with those things, because it really helps us reach more people. And you want us to do that, right? Welcoming our guest back here. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Where we left off, we were swooning over artists who support other artists and trying to like find ways to even like communicate our gratitude. Sometimes is difficult, but it's a good place to be. On the edge of the gratitude that you're able to manifest or to create. And I usually ask guests this during the break, but I want to ask you this here, is that like, so we've talked about kind of the birth of Cool Whip and the perspective. We've talked about season 2, but I want to open up the floor to you all. If there's anything in particular that we haven't touched on yet that you're interested in talking about in reference to Cool Whip or Silver Space, or if there's anything on your mind in regards to that. And if there's not, then there's not, and I'm just gonna crack this Bloody Mary. Big Yummy has entered the chat.
Big Yummy.
Nick, what you got? Island Nick, you got anything?
I don't know. I think we covered a lot of good things. I do appreciate promoting season 2. I think I like to reiterate that season 2, I don't think we're going to change any of the formula that was successful in season 1. Though I did like to joke that we should just skip season 2 and go straight to season 3 to avoid any pressures being placed on season 2.
Season 2 is a lost season.
I think I've been overridden in that dream, but yeah, I'm just excited to get back into it. This is getting me excited doing the video with you guys, getting my my talking skills back.
Learning how to write by hand, like wow, I haven't done this since spring semester.
Can't do it. No, I just kind of wanted to like piggyback on that, and then Rick brought up the quote from Khalil about things that bring you validation, like this, just like on a personal level. Every time that we record a Cool Whip episode and talk to someone about their work, being able to be a part of that and being able to provide someone that space is probably, if I can, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but it is one of the most validating things like I've ever done in my entire life, just from like a spiritual perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like every episode that we record gives me like this new life, and it's so interesting and it's so fun. And even if nobody listened, which you should listen, you should obviously listen.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
Yeah, like it, subscribe, tell your friends.
Review, leave us some reviews, give us 5 stars.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We need all the stuff.
Yeah.
No, I fully see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like I would still do it. Like I would still want to do it because it's
there's
freaking
some
fun.
Feeling that I get from doing the podcast. Like it's a similar feeling that I would get when I go to openings. And you kind of talk to people, and I always seem to be like going into openings with the mindset of like I'm only gonna like stop for like 10 minutes and then go do my thing after that. Like I'm not gonna stay very long. And then I end up staying until like they're like, hey, you have to leave. like with those. Just because you get talking to people and like you get into conversations that you didn't think you'd have, talking to people you didn't think you'd talk to, meeting new people. I met a lot of new people, specifically at CAM. I miss those openings. And so like getting that feeling back through the podcast has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the elephant in the room is the value of this shifted for you during the course of recording. So you began recording, like Art Brunch existed as an idea before COVID happened, but it only really like actually started to be produced during the COVID pandemic. Wear a fucking mask. And with Cool Whip, like you all were recording episodes in like a pre-COVID world and like kind of on the cusp of the rise of the pandemic, and the value shifted. I think the value shifted probably in an interesting way from like, oh, we're just hanging out and talking with friends, to like, oh, we can't hang out and talk with friends, and like nobody can go to openings and nobody is having those experiences at the moment.
Yeah, I miss recording them. We would record them in my living room, around my coffee table, and we'd like almost exclusively do it at night around like 8 o'clock, so it was always dark. And there's something about kind of talking in a circle, in almost dark, that made conversations kind of go in a different direction than they have been since we've been doing the Zoom thing, which isn't a bad or good thing. It's just different. And yeah, I think Zoom has been particularly, I don't know, it's really helped out the podcast, and it's really helped out our ability to kind of broaden our reach from just people that could come to the apartment to now literally anybody that has Zoom.
Yeah, it definitely. And I will say too, though, there was like, I am super excited to like, whenever the pandemic is over, again, wear your mask, do it. But when we first started recording, Nick and I did like, what was it? We batched like 6 episodes before you left, and we did all of them. And there was just like this feeling of like intimacy too, being able to like record, all together around this like coffee table. And there was like always inclement weather, like whenever the guests would be like driving, there was like a snowstorm and then like a thunderstorm. Jordan McGurks was like so cute with the thunderstorm, and Nick was like, I wish we're gonna be able to like hear the lightning, and then that was funny. But like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just this whole different like setting. So I am really looking forward to being able to return to like that level of intimacy, especially when you're talking about art, which can be like really lofty and like theoretical.
Yeah,
obviously, but like being able to just like sit and have like that communal aspect too was like really I don't want to say magical, but I'm going to say magical.
Laura Shilley in the chat says, cheers to Sean Burkhardt for venturing out in an icy snowstorm.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and Marina, I want to jump on what you said earlier about kind of like how like spiritual it feels, because I feel like I know Rick and I had like a little laser moment of like, hey, that's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so glad you said that publicly, especially like, again, it's being recorded. So it's like, I want to address that publicly, as to share that love with that. But I think that, you're creating an opportunity for someone to have an interview done, right? You can be like, hey, well, I was recently interviewed and here's the spotlight of this and here's me. Like, there is power in the ability to give that to someone. But I think beyond that, to not just be like, oh yeah, like, bro, we'll link. Like, it's not link. It's just, we don't link. We have a conversation and it's real.
Yeah.
And I think that I almost feel like there's the intimacy actually through Zoom and kind of contemporalizing, that's not a word, but kind of bring it to the space of like, I do think that people can almost think better. And I'm curious what you guys think as far as the difference between like your in-person and now is like, I think when I do this in like this format, like I've only ever done this show in this format with Rick. We've never been in the same room to do the show, but like the fact that I can kind of like sit, kind of just, we're gonna get real meta here, I guess, but just like I can sit and kind of just like, I'm gonna choose to look over at this person and now over here, and then I can kind of sit and like actually listen and like not have, to worry about literally being live in front of people, but I am technically live on a show. So I'm curious, like that intimacy, that spirituality, like do you feel like is it less now, or has it kind of just shifted in a way, and maybe the good and bad of both of those?
I think it's like delayed because
Yeah.
Because of the obvious reason, Zoom kind of makes it hard. Though we do an audio podcast, we do talk on Zoom because I think you have to be looking at the person you're talking to them. It's
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
hard to have a conversation the way we do if it was just over the phone. So we do still get some of that spiritual connection. I do definitely miss that. It's been fortunate that a lot of the people that we've talked to on Zoom have been people we are already familiar with. I'm curious what's going to happen when we do a Zoom interview with someone that we've never met before and see what the energy is. But I think it's still there. It's just, yeah, like a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
I don't know, Marina, what do you think?
I mean, definitely. I'm gonna come off sounding like such like a new age guru, which like I'm not.
I'm all about
Like,
that.
I'll grab my crystals.
Yeah, we
yeah.
are all about that.
Is everybody charged? Did everybody recharge their crystal?
Yeah.
I put my crystals in the moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm a person that like feeds off of like the tangible energy from like being near other people. And at first it was super hard, but I will say, especially for like our series with the Great Rivers artists too, like the format of Zoom, to Jake's point, definitely made me more conscious of the my critical lens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like it was a little bit easier to be like critical or on the maybe like slightly more academic side of things because it was a little bit more formal in that way. Like for some reason, like the Zoom format feels more formal because it is just like physically removed. Yeah. Whereas like it's almost like being in like communion with
100%.
artists when you're like recording in the same space in a way. So it felt a little bit more like more formal, and I was able to like put my big girl cowboy hat on in that instance.
I was so hoping you were going to say cowboy hat, and you did. It was perfect. Well, and sorry, now this will be my last point about this but what I think it does is it kind of democratizes the experience, because my favorite meme about podcasts in the world is there's a picture of like three women like kind of like enjoying ice cream together or something, and they're like laughing and it's like hot, and it's a static image, and then there's this kid standing next to that ad on the wall eating ice cream and going like totally basically to that picture. And I think that they're being like, you two and the artists in the room, it's kind of like we get to like, listen through the peephole or something. That's not what a peephole is for. But whereas if we're all here.
Good one, Jake.
Thank you.
Audio engineer Jake Leach, everybody. Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay. Don't act like when you're trying to find like someone's house, like you don't turn down the music in your car.
I do.
Okay?
I literally
100%.
It doesn't make sense, but it, whatever. Anyway.
I love you, Jake.
Thank you.
You just make so few mistakes. Sometimes I have to jump on one.
No, please knock me down a peg. But what I feel like is like the audience member is also digitally watching this conversation happen, and we are all in a unit. So that I feel like in a way the audience member almost becomes equivalent to those who had this conversation in the first place. Like it actually kind of brings it a little bit closer, even though we are so far apart. And no one needs to respond to that necessarily if you don't want to, but I think that speaking to the idea of like spirituality and the connectivity of these conversations, I think I personally think is not lost. I think it's just changed, absolutely. And I think it's the people who are in the conversation that matters most. And I think you guys 100% get that across, that when you talk to your artists, like it's not just like, it's not Link. It's like, I love your work and here's why, you know.
Mhm.
And it's like this Midwestern kind of like, and I'm doing it in real time actually as I do it right now, like embarrassing yourself, complimenting someone. Because, you know, it's like we need that. We need people to be that humble pie Midwestern, like, I love your shit and here's why.
Yeah.
And but we're also going to get into like the formality of it at the same time.
I had this really amazing moment when I was in let's see, third grade, where I was playing soccer at recess with
Yeah.
this new kid, and he had really long fingernails, but it's okay. I was willing to let that slide. And we connected, and we liked a lot of the same shit. And we were talking afterwards, and we were going in after recess, like we were, you know, when all the kids are like crunched together in these brown hallways after recess, with those like last moments of joy just slipping like sand through our fingers. And he looked over at me and he was like, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Are we friends? And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, bro, we're
Yeah, trim your
friends.
nails.
Yeah. And friends tell friends to like check out a nail clipper. Clip that.
Maybe he
And
played guitar or something. He needed those
I don't-
formal.
it was on
Guitar
both
nails.
hands, so that's
No.
unless he was like a very special guy. He was a
Yeah.
very special guy, and he just had this moment. I think this moment of insight. Who knows if that was like a practice, but just like, I want to make sure we're friends. Like, before I go off into the desolation of the rest of the day at school. Like, just give me that. And I was like, yeah, dude, we're friends. And I thought that was really cool. And like, sometimes like in these virtual spaces, in these digital worlds, we have to like be more than what we are in person to communicate the energy that we are trying to communicate to one another. Like, I don't speak with my hands, but when we are doing a show together, like, sometimes I need to emphasize or let you know that like my heart is open. And we have to like be more of ourselves in those spaces, which is also just like a good exploration. And like, hey, I like you guys, I'm really happy you're here. Like, I have to tell you that, not just like, you don't just pick it up from osmosis through being in the same room as me.
Oh, 100%. And just to like kind of further that point too, I feel like as far as like the value that the doing the podcast has brought to me as a person is being able to have these conversations. Like, I've become more like comfortable with myself, which is weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, that's what art has always done for me throughout my entire life. I don't create anything, but I find myself in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so being able to have these conversations and like be authentically like who you are in those conversations and like connect with somebody on that level, like that's insane that like I can do that. Nick, do you feel like that at all?
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah.
In the chat, yeah, and thanks for sharing that. In the chat, Lil Cyber Angel says, I think also the intimacy has shifted by being on Zoom because each person is in their own personal space, and their personal environment is happening around them, even though we're all detached from a physical space together. Like, we're all at home together, and Nico reiterates that like at home changes the sense of comfort. So there is some value and some connection there. It's like, I'm in my house. I'm not at your house. Like, I'm not like petting Obi for the first time, which like is great, but
Would
also
love to do
very
that, but
distracting. I would love to pet Obi, please.
Yes.
But you know, it is nice to like be surrounded by our own comforts and then trying to kind of coordinate those comforts across space and time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we do have our final segment here. I think it's a good time to switch over into that. The Bloody Mary is starting to kick in, so I'm ready to party. We got this final section here called 10 Questions of Triumph. More of a lightning round.
We really need to get like a big something. We need to get. Anyway, I'm speaking that out into the
We
world.
need an air horn. Is that what
We
you're
need an
saying?
air horn.
Don't you? Yeah. Jake is getting back at me for insulting him earlier about the people. He's like, Rick, remember, we need some sort of. Do you have
Yeah,
the?
Rick, remember?
Pew pew pew.
There it is. Thank you.
God, in college, my old friend had a peephole in the dorms, and I switched her peephole around at the beginning of the semester, and she didn't know for the whole semester. So like anybody could go up and just see what was going on in there.
And that
Wow,
was her
sounds
performance
like an invasion
work.
of privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like something you don't want to broadcast live to millions of people.
It's now eternally on the internet. Remains nameless, so it's fine. We couldn't possibly know who, but yes.
Poor Mary.
No, it was Ellen Costello. She's so proud of it.
It was the beginning.
Social too? Can throw that up there.
It was the beginning of her professional conceptual work.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
God, she lived on Zoom.
The artist in the
Sorry.
room.
Anyways,
Nico says it was Conan actually.
Yeah, it was kind of my bad. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. How are we going to structure this since we have two guests?
Yeah.
We'll go first, but ladies first, I think.
There we go.
Oh,
Was that rude?
okay. No.
No. Marina's extremely
Person
offended,
with
isn't
the
it?
largest hat first.
Yes, there we go. Large hats first.
We're
yes.
keeping it neutral around here.
Yeah.
What
That's
is
a big hat?
question number one is what is one simple thing that you're trying to get good at?
One simple thing that I'm trying to get good at. Walking and talking. I don't know.
At the same time?
At the same time. No. One simple thing that I'm trying to get good at. Yeah, we're just gonna go with walking and talking. My ADD is so bad. So like being able to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
There's a device that you might be interested in called a walkie-talkie. So Google that after
there
the
you
show.
go.
Might help you
I'm
out.
walkie and I'm talky.
Nick, one simple thing that you're trying to get good at.
Probably right now it's just like self-love.
Yeah, super simple. Thanks.
sure.
So-
Very simple. Loving myself.
this is the easiest thing we'll do all year.
I need to get better at that.
Be nice to yourself.
For real though.
Everyone.
Yes, everyone.
Marina, what is your favorite type of gum?
Orbit, the teal pack. I think it's winter mint.
Winter mint. Okay.
Yeah.
And Nick?
Probably juicy fruit because it reminds me of my dad, but I actually don't like juicy.
Is that because you don't like your dad?
No, I love my dad. I think juicy fruit has the smallest life of flavor, second to zebra stripe,
Yeah.
and it has a bad texture.
Zebra stripe
Maybe
gets shit
Big League
on.
Chew is
Zebra stripe always gets shit on here, and like maybe
It
they
really
weren't
does.
trying to make a lasting flavor. Jake's gone.
Yeah.
They just want you to like eat it
Come on,
like
what
candy, and then you gotta
expectations do we
buy
have on
more.
gum? It's not a meal. Like, what do we need?
I chewed a
No,
piece
but
of
I
gum.
see what,
I chewed
like,
a
the
piece of.
cost benefit.
Go ahead.
No,
ahead.
no, I was
No,
just
you're
gonna
next.
say the cost benefit of juicy fruit is like terrible.
Oh, it's
So
horrible. It's absolutely trash. I completely agree.
I chewed a piece and a half of 5 gum the other day for about an hour, which is my favorite type of gum, and we would really like to
Five
be.
gum shout out.
We would really like to be sponsored by 5 Gum personally. Stimulate your senses. And my jaw hurt for like my jaw's been hurting for like a solid 4 days after chewing 1.5 pieces of gum. And
Wow.
And like fuck, I'm old.
Rick.
Little Cyber Angel asks, you all ever had Bubblicious though?
Bubblicious is very good. Let me tell you what though, I hate Big Red. Fuck Big
Oh.
Red.
Don't even get
rude.
me started. Did you ever lick the Big Red wrapper?
And
I
stick it
did
on your
this.
forehead?
I licked a bit.
Yeah.
The first week before starting high school, somebody dared me to lick a Big Red wrapper and put it on my head. And it turns your whole forehead like red. You get like a red square from it.
hurts.
So I went to my first week of high school with a big red square on my forehead for being an idiot and licking
Wow.
Big Red.
That's all high school's
They call her
for.
Big Red all 4 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm still Big Red.
Hey.
Shout out to bring it up.
Nico says, hot take, gum is just bad candy that has separation anxiety.
Whoa.
No,
It is a hot
he's
take.
wrong.
It's like
Nico.
that's a big red take right there.
That is a big red take. I'll jump in here. Marina, have you ever successfully completed a game of Monopoly?
Absolutely not. No. No. No
Nick,
way.
how about you?
Yeah, I used to play Speed Monopoly a lot with my dad and my brother. We had the NFL edition, and we would play it on a little tiny trampoline though, because we didn't have a table. And so like the chances of it being finished were slim, because any knee movement, you'd send the whole board flying up, or anytime you were losing, you'd send the whole board flying up at you. We did finish a lot. I don't think I ever finished a real game, so I don't know if that really is the true answer.
Did you guys have the Juicy Fruit edition of Monopoly?
No, they had the big red one.
Thanks,
That's what
Dad.
they had.
Oh, that's why he hates it. Fuck Monopoly. Yeah, like apparently Monopoly is like disrespected in the board game industry. We learned that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Little Cyber Angel says sometimes after chewing gum for a long time, I get a headache or my jaw hurts. Yeah, I know. Like that's getting old. Getting old is not being able to chew gum anymore. It's like
or eat anything without a stomachache.
Yeah.
You can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Exactly. It's a
See,
simple thing to learn.
that's too complicated for me. I'm working on the walking and talking, walking and chewing gum. That's a whole other level. That's next
after
level.
that. Exactly.
Yeah, that's not something simple that you're trying to get good at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's complicated.
Marina,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rick. You're good?
You want to rock, paper, scissors for it?
Okay, ready?
Yeah, do it now
Okay,
on camera.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Wow.
This is gonna
Even
go
with the
forever.
delay, we got to
Rock,
tie.
paper, scissors, shoot.
Are you kidding?
Another tie.
Let's say it at the same time.
Okay.
Good old Rock.
Marina.
Nothing beats that.
Marina.
Dream job, no holds barred.
Wait, are you kidding me? Hold on. That's so funny that you mentioned this, because I found a tweet from my defunct Twitter from 2014 that does have my dream job in it.
No way.
And it is makeup artist surf yogi who appraises art and curates collections on the side in a really dope city by the beach. That's it.
And it hasn't changed a day since 2014.
And it's still the same, and I'm going to maintain it.
And it was the truest thing I've ever tweeted.
It is. I only say true things, especially on the internet.
Only spits the truth.
I don't even want Nick to answer this because that was too good.
Thank you.
So, Nick, shooting over to you, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or the Disney Channel?
Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Your bias, because name.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I should actually say no because kids called me Nickelodeon and I fucking hated it. Or Nick at Night. I fucking hated it.
Nick at Night is
Cartoon Network's really good though.
Like Nick at Night is a vibe though.
It is.
Totally.
Yeah.
I Love Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say I'm sorry, but I hate the Disney Channel.
Oh,
with
me too.
passion.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm right
I
there
hate
with
Disney. I hate Disney Channel TV shows. I hate any kid that got popular from Disney Channel.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a good lineage with that channel.
Yeah, fuck you, Zac Efron.
For real.
For real.
Does he still have the same like surfer boy brown haircut that he's
Six-pack
had
abs.
for his whole life?
No, he's incredibly attractive still.
God damn.
I think he's too hot
Just
for
better
me to
haircut.
like.
Some people just.
Some people just get hotter as they age, and it's
Ugh.
very difficult. My goodness. To both of you, well, I'll start with Marina. Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur?
Squirtle. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, Nick, hold on. Excuse me. What did you say?
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur?
Rick, it's happening.
Bulbasaur every
Rick, It's
day.
happening. Rick, it's happening.
Bulbasaur?
Rick.
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur's the most
Every
fucking
time.
Please.
trash.
I picked him every
Don't.
time.
It's the most trash ass shit you could ever pick.
Oh.
What are you, a
come on.
vegan?
It's fine.
What?
Are you a fucking salad eating bird vegan? You gonna vine lash me?
No, dude, I'm gonna fucking leech seed you and take all your energy.
Hey, I'm all about the leech
It's a
seed.
game. I mean,
you
that's
very much. All about the
it's
leech seed.
shitheads
And then
and
just when
game
you don't see it
breakers.
coming, I'm gonna solar blast you.
It's
You're
just
done.
full of shitheads and game breakers. Bulbasaurs are. Can't play the fucking real game.
Wow.
Eating salads.
I've been waiting for this moment for about 6 to 7 weeks, since that's how long I've been on the show. We've not had a single Bulbasaur.
Nobody's
in
picked
every-
Bulbasaur yet?
No.
Not a single person. And Rick's like,
Oh, I
I'm just
pick
waiting.
Bulbasaur every time.
I can't wait to just freaking annihilate that person. I gotta be honest, Nick, you held your own. Much
Yeah.
like I honestly think Bulbasaur would. So
Yeah.
sorry, Rick. I'm gonna
That's
be honest.
fine,
I think
that's
he held his
fine.
own.
Nico says
It
I
wasn't super
support.
effective.
Nico says. Nico says I support Nick here. Just because both your names start with Nick. Neek.
Yeah.
I got a Bulbasaur vibe going here. I got a blue
really
body and
do.
a
I was
green
gonna
top.
say.
That's
I'm through. This show's. Jake. This is your show.
I got
now.
the rest.
I'm
I
fucking
guess.
over
Okay.
it.
All right, Rick, you go take a sec. You cool down. Marina, while driving, are you usually the giver or the receiver of the finger?
That sounds bad.
Both.
Both. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Well-
fair play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah.
It's that
Um,
messy lifestyle. That's what I lead to. Like I'm swerving being a dick, but I'm also like I'm teaching with my driving. You know, you have to teach the people, how to do it right. And I think that inevitably there's a giving and receiving, with that. So
Yeah, I mean, I am a mess, so both.
is that your whip in the background, by the way?
My what?
Your whip. Is that your whip in the background?
Oh, the Honda Element.
yeah.
Yeah, look at her.
I love the Honda Element. I'm a big fan of the Element.
There's a guy in my high school who his nickname was Box, just Box Head.
Okay.
And I always wanted to do like a portrait series of box in box, box on box, box under box. Like box just being around box. But I love her. She's my queen. She's my chariot.
Does she have a name?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
She's just
Ellie.
the Queen Chariot Element. My favorite thing is, and I'm curious, I asked this of every Element owner, and I know you're now number 3 or 4. It's because you can open up the suicide doors, right?
Mhm.
So you can do that. In the ad for that car, they always had someone throwing a frisbee through the car, and that it was like the Honda Element's part of a fun lifestyle. Like you can throw a frisbee through the car. How many cars can you do that with? And I'm just curious if you've
Wow.
ever done that, and if you haven't, could you record it and send it to us?
Okay, so I've never done that, but when Nick was home for quarantine, we did play like an absurd amount of disc golf. So I do have several frisbees
Hell
in
yeah.
my car. Discs, I'm
I'd
sorry.
say I'd say
Yes,
a
I was gonna say
normal
discs,
amount of
please.
disc golf.
Let's be formal. Yeah.
I have a certain number of discs in my car, so I could make that happen theoretically.
Okay.
Mm.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you
think
know,
that
you know what
would mean a lot.
the worst take on a box car is?
What's that?
The Kia Soul.
Yeah,
Agree.
no, but-
Fully agree. Fuck
It-
the Kia Soul.
It's the worst car ever made.
Okay, you guys, the newest
The
model
stupid
of it
gerbils?
is
No.
pretty cool.
No.
No. The
What
Honda Element
car?
is everything.
It is.
Also, the
There's no question
Nissan
of that.
Cube is kind of lame.
The Cube
Yeah.
kind of sucks. Even though my
But the
grandpa has a
Scion
car,
XB was my favorite.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, yeah.
XB is
XB
the shit.
is
There's
the
no
shit.
question.
The Kia Soul, like if you get into a Kia Soul, I used to drive cars. I used to transport cars for a living. As a long story, but the Kia Souls from like 2016 had Soul written as a pattern that they put completely wrapping around each seat. Like
That's pretty sick.
It's not sick. It's
No, it
literally
is.
not
That's
sick. It's the most
cool.
trash ass shit I've ever seen. The Kia Soul is
That's like-
literally the worst car ever made. I'm just gonna die
No,
on that
that's
hill.
like having an inspirational quote on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's
like,
like
that's
live,
the
laugh,
goal.
love in your kitchen.
Rick, I was just gonna say, how many cars live, laugh, love their own car? That does
Right.
I'm
not.
not helping myself out here, but there's a Kia Soul in St. Louis that's lime green and the license plate says Bulba.
You are not helping yourself out.
Is that
here.
your car?
I went
It's
on
not
to,
my car, but every time I see it, I'm like, yeah.
I have this Reddit article pulled up right here. That is here are some of the reasons why Bulbasaur is the worst. Number 1, no one will respect you. People will laugh at you for your decision, and no one will take you seriously as a trainer.
Wow, that's
Hey,
all
wait, who'd you
number
guys
one.
pick
That's just
again?
one.
Squirtle? Who would win
Squirtle,
in a fight every time? Bulbasaur.
Charizard, and
Charizard is
Blastoise can be used to aid in transportation, while Venusaur is useless in this regard. Nico says, I have to jump in and say that the ugliest car ever made is the Fiat Multipla. Google it.
Anything Fiat sucks.
Yeah, most Fiat cars
Fiat
suck.
is
I
like
completely agree.
Mini took, like Mini smoked the wrong strain.
If Minnie went to a state school, that's what I think. That's
Oh,
that's
God.
my opinion. And I can say that I went to a state school, okay? So I can say that. Thank you. But anyway,
The Fiat Multipla.
oh,
Ew.
that is sick.
It's kind of
Oh, dang, look
sick.
at that one with the body kit.
Oh,
And
shit.
that pink one. Those are both sick.
Wow.
Also the one with the people sitting next to it. What's up with that?
Yeah. Wait, no, I need more information on that.
What is happening there?
That's probably like how much you can fit. Why you should love the
Wow.
Fiat Multipla by Matteo
January
Licata.
6th.
Oh, my boy Mateo on.
That's
on
like the
this-
car that you rent in Europe. That's like the large SUV.
Oh, and it's even got
you
the
could-
cat.
This hot pink is
100%.
this hot pink and gold is kind of hot.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
fine. That is a total.
That's like a
fine.
Bulbasaur car.
It does look like Bulbasaur, actually.
Get the fuck out of here. This show's
Does that
over.
have suicide doors?
I hope so.
Fiat made two cars and accidentally cut them together. Is what Nico
Oh,
says.
God.
Where are we at in the list,
Um,
Jake?
Gross.
Yes. So, Marina, what are your thoughts on quinoa?
That actually refers to another tweet that I tweeted once,
Are you
which was,
clairvoyant?
how do I know if I like quinoa? And that's my thought.
Not
I mean,
sure
it's
about it.
good. I don't know. I don't eat grains too much, but sure, throw some quinoa in there. Why
Yeah.
not?
I hear it. I
Sage
hear
of the
that.
Sloth says the bulb on the dashboard. Apparently that's the
Okay.
Bulbasaur vibe. But
Nick, what are your thoughts on quinoa?
That's fine. I prefer rice, white rice, but quinoa's fine. I don't know. I don't like it or hate it.
it's like why? Like why not rice? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't go out of my way to get quinoa.
Yeah, I agree. We've yet to receive.
Although I
a
do love
receipt.
there's that commercial where this dude's like shopping. He's like, "What the fuck is quinoa?"
Mm.
That
Yeah,
always made me
quinoa.
laugh.
It's like, remember when people couldn't say Chipotle for like 3 years?
Yeah.
My mom
Oh,
still
yeah.
says Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I remember those commercials where they called it out on themselves. They're like, Chipotle.
The
Yeah,
Jack in the Box commercials?
I think it was Jack in the Box.
Yeah, because Jack in the Box, like, that's the kind of trash that I grew up in. It's like my first entrance to the word Chipotle was through Jack in the Box, which is superior fast food. But that's a question, a topic for another time. And then, yeah, like, first of all, where did the jackhead antennas go, and why aren't they still popular? And second of all,
Everybody kept stealing.
yeah, but second of all, like, for like a series of 3 years, nobody could say Chipotle, and it really irked me.
I will say that I did hear a human person say Chipotopoli one time.
No.
And it would not. This story would not be fun if I was lying. I have no reason to lie. A human said in my presence Chipotopoli, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know.
In the
how
same
one
vein as
gets
that, I used to work at Subway, and this person, when they had the chicken teriyaki sandwiches, someone said, "Can I get the chicken pterodactyl?" I am not kidding.
Pterodactyl.
That's just fun. That's just a good time.
The P pterodactyl.
Oh my god.
That's bad.
Good
I don't
lord.
like that.
Somehow we're going to transition from that into this question. Marina, do you have a meditation practice or a similar way of relaxing or connecting to your world?
Yeah. So so I have this like issue where I can't shut my brain off at night. And so I have like a badass nighttime routine, which entails ginger turmeric tea from Trader Joe's, low kitchen light. I have, God, I really do sound like a new age guru
We
on
love
this
that.
whole
It's all
thing.
good.
I do gratitude lists every day, sometimes twice a day, depending on the degree of hardness of the day. And yeah, that's how I do like a gratitude list at night or in the morning. And then usually my brain gets shut off and I do comfort show and audiobook. And that's my meditative practice.
It's a solid plan.
I feel relaxed
solid
right
program.
now.
Did
I
you
feel like I just meditated.
have you released your 8-step are you releasing your 8-step program in season 2 of Cool Whip?
Yeah, it's 7.5.
7.5 steps.
It's an expedited version. It's like
What's the half
6
step?
minute abs. What?
What was the half step?
Just half step is a quick dance.
Oh,
So
I see.
that's the
Yeah, no, that's
that's the final component of
that's
that.
fitting. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all look forward to that. So subscribe, like, and comment, and follow Marina on Instagram to see the 7.5 step plan. Nick,
Yep.
same question to you. Do you have are you probably just gonna say some shit about waking up at 6 a.m. and going to the beach because you live in Hawaii? But
Yeah, no, I try to get 20 minutes a day. Usually, it's like lately it's been 10. I try to do 10 in the morning, 10 at night. It makes it easier that I can go to the beach because I leave my phone in the car, hidden, so no one steals it. And then I will sit on the beach for a while and meditate, and also try to not infringe on the homeless people. But yeah, that's it.
Hawaii has
Morning
the
specifically.
highest homeless population, unhoused
Yeah,
population
they're everywhere.
in the country, in the States.
They're
yeah.
everywhere. But opposed to Chicago, I used to live in Chicago. They don't bother you here. I mean, they just do their own thing. We're in Chicago, like constantly being asked for money, etc.
Homeless and houseless, says Laura. Yeah, I think at Chicago, like if you're in the loop, then like you get what you asked for, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
I will say the general population though, like everyday people, which is everyone, all humans. I do feel like in Chicago, people are just like they got somewhere to go, and that is where I am. For the record, for the world, I am in Chicago right now.
You got
It's
your
like,
walking face.
like when you walk in St. Louis, people are like, who are you? Why are you walking? People don't walk here. What are you doing? Where Chicago, like, I could wear a clown suit and people are like, I don't care. I'm just keep going. I got stuff to do. No one's gonna bother me. So they keep.
I noticed that when I came back to St. Louis from Chicago, I was like, why are you walking anywhere? Like, where are you going? It was suspect. Like, even like just seeing someone out on the street, I was like, what the fuck's going on? But in Chicago, that's how you get everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a sus act to walk in St. Louis.
So our final question here is, for the both of you, and we'll adjust it a little bit. What is the most memorable? Wise guy Mafai says sus. What is the most memorable response you've received about your work? But we'll talk about it in the context of Cool Whip. Like, what is the most memorable response you've received about Cool Whip or in response to Cool Whip?
Probably James McAnally saying he listens to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty ballin'.
Yeah, he does not listen to podcasts, and so for us to be able to get into his ears is pretty big. So we appreciate him.
Yeah, we also got the chief curator at CAM sent very nice notes to us as well when we did the CAM series, and that.
Yeah, she said we keep her up on St. Louis artists, so that felt pretty cool.
How do you pronounce their name? Wasan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, like an addendum to that, I also love when my friends that like did not care about art at all, like will screenshot me like that they're listening to the episode or like text me like something funny like from the episode. It gets me every time. Like I love that. I think it's so cool that they listen and that they're like hearing these conversations and that they're like entertaining to them, because I think it's cool and absolutely. I feel like Nick thinks it's cool, but like having somebody that like isn't like in the art scene respond to it and be like, I love it. That's like what I live for.
That's like extra. It's like kind of like, okay, it's to be expected. Like all the people in the art scene vibe this, know this, but like when you get somebody who, is an accountant and they're like, oh wow, I didn't know. And it's like, oh shit, okay, this is actually doing what it's supposed to do.
I felt very much like the mission of any sort of like journalistic space is just like you can learn anything from anyone. Like literally, like we shouldn't just interview people that we love and respect. Like we should just literally interview any human being on planet Earth, and you will get something out of it that you could have never expected. You know, and
100%.
I think too is that getting that from an audience perspective is just as powerful. You know, someone in taking in your conversation with an artist can be just as meaningful on the same end.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you know, it's time to wrap up. But fortunately, you know, Jake always reminds me that it's better to say too little than it is to say too much. And that's something that I have to remind myself because, you know, we could talk. I feel like we just started talking and we could
Honestly.
talk for like 2 more hours and like actually get into something. But we'll save that for a later date for sure. And we
Yeah,
appreciate you
maybe
all.
we can continue this conversation on Cool Up with you guys.
Oh,
Season
Oh,
2.
yeah. We'll be
would love
down.
that.
Season 3.
100%.
Season 3.
Season
Yeah,
3,
shout out
'cause we're
season
not
3.
doing-
Season 3 coming up next.
So yeah, keep your eyes open for that, and I'm gonna say it now, and then I'm gonna kick it over to you. So in the next moments, think about what you're gonna say to leave everyone off with. But what I want to say to our guests and to our viewers is thank you for being here, thank you for traveling with us today. Definitely support Cool Whip if you can. I'm gonna drop their links in the chat. Follow them, that's free. Check out their website, that's free. And if you got some money to spare, go over to the GoFundMe and help make season 2 the best it can be. It seems like they're going to do it, you know, even if they don't get the full $1 million that they're asking for. But if they, you know, the more money that they have, even if it's, you know, I'm gonna donate, you know, $6 later. It's like that's what I have to spare right now. The $6 that you have, if you have that extra, go over there to the GoFundMe and send that their way. And then we'll just go around the table, starting with Nick. Final thoughts that you want to leave our audience with today?
I just want to appreciate everybody for being here, so for supporting both travel agency and Cool Whip. It's nice to have an audience to talk to, but we would do this even if we didn't. So thank you for being here for this. I also wanted to promote that we have a Instagram for Cool Whip that is not really as fully formed as Silver Spaces, but we're going to get there, and it's Cool Whip Official.
Yeah, Cool Whip _ official. We have that link in the chat there.
Yeah, so follow that for Cool Whip specific things. But no, yeah, if you guys have any feedback on what we're doing right or wrong, please feel free to reach out and give us 5 stars.
Yeah. And let's get some love in the chat for Cool Whip here. If you got some hearts, drop hearts in the chat.
Also, if anybody has any connections with Good and Gather, we would like a sponsorship. So
yes.
please.
Where's our target, folks? Let's get them in. Get them in the chat.
Marina, the final thoughts that you're going to leave us with today, the final proclamation of Sunday, December 13th, 2020.
Oh God. Final proclamation. Just want to echo Nick, say thank you all so much for having us. This has been so fun. And you know, we love what you do, and this is, I don't know, the more the merrier. We just love talking with you.
Thank you.
But yeah, be nice to yourself. Happy Sunday. Support the arts in all forms. Do what you can. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to other people right now. That's all I have.
We're getting a lot of love in the chat. Thanks for all the hearts in the chat. Jake, what you got, buddy?
Well, Rick, I mean, it's been fun being a member of Art Brunch. I have now, obviously, as we talked about, switched over to the Cool Whip show, and so I just want to say thank you, Rick, for my time with you, and
it's
you
my
really
pleasure.
Grew me and blossomed me to become who I am, so that I could be cool enough for Nick and Marina to want to have me on their show, because they're like, Jake, you got to be a little cooler. I was like, okay. So I joined this thing, and now here we are. So I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for me, but we won't be speaking ever again.
Okay, thanks, Jake. Yeah. And on that note, I just I want to say goodbye first to Jake Leach. It was a good run. It was something that was special for a time in our lives, and like I understand the desire to go to something that's been going on a little bit longer than this, but we're going to sustain ourselves, and we're going to we're going to continue moving forward with the travel agency and with Art Brunch, whether Jake is here or not. And honestly, I think it's probably for the best. You can't hear Jake, but Little Cyber Angel says, "Where is Jake going?" And Laura Shilley has a cryy face. I'm gonna bring y'all back. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. It's a joke. He's still here. He's still here. Okay.
It's okay.
But I do want to thank everyone for spending time with us today, for watching the stream. Like, when you watch the stream, it helps us rise through the algorithm of Twitch. It helps us get new viewers. I am appreciative to everyone who's been hanging out and been watching us today. All of the love in the chat has been well received. A special shout out to Cool Whip for being here. It is a really exciting experience. Like, just being able to share in these moments. Like, I didn't tell him this live on the air, but I've been like stalking Nick for years because I really like his paintings, and I think that we work in a similar fashion, and his paintings are beautiful. And I was getting closer and closer to sending that Instagram DM saying, "Hey, what's up, bud? I like you. I want to hang out and talk about paintings." But then he moved to Hawaii, and I said, my time is gone. I lost my chance. I lost my moment, but I didn't. So we're here, and now I'm talking to him as Cool Whip, and we're on even footing, and we're going to have a beautiful, long-lasting relationship. If you like the show, drop a follow. We really appreciate it. If you have a couple bucks to spare, subscribe to the channel so you get ad-free viewing and access to some cool and interesting stuff that we're doing in the future. I'm going to drop their GoFundMe link one more time. Laura Shilley with the follow. Thank you for traveling with us. And drop the GoFundMe one more time, drop Cool Whip's links, and drop our links. We'll be back next Sunday for the last show of the year with Quentin Ward. We're really looking forward to that, and we will see you then. So take care and have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here with us.